esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to DreamHack Bucharest. We're live for StarLadder Season 12. I'm LD. Of course, I'm joined here by Synderen.
How you doing, almost forgot your own name.
Yeah.
I'm
almost.
LD.
You almost forgot we were coming back. You were too busy in the Twitch chat, man.
No, that was you.
I'm not giving you a mod. It's just not going to happen.
Good. Okay. I can believe that.
We're working on it. So coming up next, we're going to have Cloud9 versus Tinkerson. It's a best of three. It seemed like most of the analysts felt that Cloud9 should be significantly favored, maybe not overwhelmingly so, but at least like 65-35, 70-30. I think most people would agree with that. I certainly would. I think Cloud9's pretty heavily favored. It actually would not surprise me that much if they take this 2-0.
No, that was my expectation going in there. They come in, like they haven't had an absolutely amazing run just recently, but before that I think they were on a 15 win streak or so in series. They were looking super hot.
They've had a really nice run coming towards this tournament.
It just feels like they figured out the version, and they have pretty much regardless of what you ban against them, they get some really key heroes. I'm mainly looking toward Bone7. Most of the time getting away with either getting his Phoenix or his Clockwork are two really core picks for Cloud9. Fata in the mid lane, getting Zeus or Beastmaster most of the time in their matchups as well. And it's really, really solid when Cloud9 get away with getting the cores, mainly for those two players. I think Eternal Envy's hero pool, they mix and match a lot.
We see him on everything. I mean, the Phantom Lancer for a while was the go-to pick. As of late, we've seen the Juggernaut, the Troll will come out occasionally. I mean, he can basically play anything, so they can really play around that with the draft. And something that Gods has mentioned a few times when he talks about this team, which I think is really a strength of their drafting style, is that Phoenix pick. Because if you don't ban it, they pick it first too, but you don't know how they're going to use it. Will it be a support, or is it going to be something that Bone7 takes the offlane? You don't know. It makes it hard to lane and plan against them.
And it's a really good thing about the Phoenix pick that I think is underrated to a large extent is when you cast Supernova, a lot of people are like, we need to destroy the egg. And yes, maybe you destroy the egg. I think that was actually part of one of the highlight clips going into the series.
Yeah, it was everyone running in.
They actually destroyed the Supernova and then they all died because you focus all your attention onto the Supernova for like 2 seconds and everyone else in the team fight just gets to freely cast their spells. So like for me, the nightmare scenario playing against Cloud9 is that you give Fata his Zeus and you give them the Phoenix as well. Because then, yes, you go for the Supernova, but Zeus gets to cast like 5 spells during that duration, and then all of your heroes are super low, and then yeah, sure, you killed the Phoenix, but what's going to be the outcome of the fight?
Yeah, the Zeus seems like a really go-to hero for them. They used to run it as a support back when AUI 2000 was on the team. Lately, it seems like it's much more of a core hero for them, but it really goes back to what this team has been focusing on, and I think it's been an emerging trend towards the end of this patch. This will be the last major tournament in 6.83C, but it's been vision for this team. Not just the Zeus, but also Beastmaster has been a go-to. You mentioned the Clockwork. They love heroes that can give them a little extra map control, that are going to deward it. I mean, on the rare chance that a Batrider actually makes it through the draft, that's something Cloud9 will snap up more often than not, but usually that hero is banned.
It's a really good point that they put it's actually pretty rare that Cloud9 don't have at least one vision hero. Either they have Clockwork, or they have Batrider, or they have Zeus, or they have Bounty Hunter and Notel.
And sometimes 2 or 3.
And if they have multiple, then it's very difficult to get out on the map. And we've seen games where Cloud9, if they get ahead, I think one of their biggest Achilles heel is against a team like Team Secret, where if they don't get ahead very much in the early game, then their late game decision making, I feel like, is not on par with the best of the best.
There's some very like, what's the right word for it? those games that people like to seize on is like, what is wrong with this team? For every one of those games, Cloud9 has clutch performances
Yes.
as well. But, of course, the match where they did not have TPs, I'm sure that's one that still haunts them to some extent. There's the 3-hour match where they just struggled to close out Scary Faces, a team that they ultimately beat, but it felt like it should have been much easier for them to take home that win. So
yeah, they have these weird off games in one way or the other. But I think Cloud9 they're getting better at closing out games. I think it's still one of their problems, but they're improving. And one thing they're super good at, and that's something I kind of want to highlight Notel and his playstyle and the way he works as a player is. He is super hungry in these games, right? He's so hungry. He wants to make space. He wants to find kills, and that's why putting him on a hero like Bounty Hunter is amazing. There's his best hero of all time, I would say, and still is the Wisp, which I don't think they will get. Like that's going to be a first phase ban. It has to be from Team Tinker, but he really drives them in the game with his movement and his actions around the map, and it can backfire if they get over-aggressive, but a big part of how they usually gather their leads against very strong teams is with support movement. Both Misery and No-Tail are very mobile support players in the early game, which if you go back to Cloud9's previous roster with Aoi 2000 and Pylai Dai, they were more of a passive farming team, and these two players have really brought some very good early aggression in that they take a lot of advantage of, and then the question is, can they win the games with their 10 or 15k leads? Sometimes they lose, sometimes they don't. But they're a much better early game team than we've seen in the past.
How about Team Tinker? Looking more at this squad, they seem to have found a rhythm of their own. Not maybe looking as dominant, haven't really faced the same level of competition for the most part as Cloud9. I believe they've had some matches in Dota Pit against a lot of the top European teams, but primarily they've been competing in America. They've looked pretty solid in America. Seems like a lot of their drafts are really centered around the Koikfa heroes more than anything.
Yeah.
The Storm Spirit, the Shadow Fiend, two of their most popular heroes in this version, and heroes that can single-handedly just carry a game. Do you feel like he's the pivot point for this team? Is there anyone else that jumps out at you as a real crucial part of their success?
I think Koikfa for me is really the standout player, if you had to pick one. Like you said, but they also draft for him, right? So it's a little bit hard to say.
It's partially
often,
the strategy is built around him.
Exactly. They built, like, for example, some games they pick the Omni Knight for Pylai Dai, and he plays very sacrificial support, and the entire goal is to really enable Koikfa and or Black with a really heavy support like that, which doesn't really deal any damage, but just helps control and allow the carries to shine. I think the key for Team Tinker is to ensure that both Koikfa and Black get farm. And I think Cloud9 will try to shut down either of them and just focus that one player really hard. So either destroying Koikfa in the mid lane or focusing on Black's farm and shutting him down is generally the way Team Tinker falls short, is that they talked about it on the panel earlier as well. Like, they put a lot of farm on Koikfa and Black, but the third core doesn't generally get as much. So if you shut down one of those two cores, then all of a sudden you actually had a really significant economic deficit.
And the way that Cloud9 plays, they're normally very good at just getting that one pick off. They have the heavy burst damage heroes like the Zeus that we talked about. Often the Bat Rider or the Clockwork gets picked up. So they normally have a draft that they tend to want to go late as a team. We see them picking more cores, trying to farm a little bit more. Their average game time is longer than most teams in this version. Maybe because they don't close out games early based on draft, but I think also just they're more comfortable having that crushing advantage, which is where, as you're saying, if you shut down the one core and then you get a little bit later in the game, well, you're 1v5 essentially in some ways.
Yeah, I think they just have this. They have like this. The past is haunting them sometimes in their games. Like, they're like, oh, let's not throw again like we did in game X 2 months ago. And okay, we have a lead. We're controlling the map. We might as well farm ourselves another 5 or 10k advantage just in case. And I think, in a way, it's a little bit of a sign of weakness that they don't trust themselves enough in the base push. But at the same time, it's also a sign of them learning.
And part of it is the version as well. This is a very punishing version if you overextend or make mistakes. So it's not just about the team, but it seems like it's a combination of the two. And well, with that said, Sin, it looks like we have finally made our way into the draft. We're going to go ahead and hop on into it. This is Cloud9 versus Tinker. Game 1 of a best of 3. Loser not eliminated, but they will drop down to the lower bracket.
And, well, we talked about Koikfa's heroes being a key part
Man,
by two of them.
agrees.
They're going to ban out Queen of Pain as well as Storm Spirit. This means the
Shadow Fiend's the
Shadow
big
Fiend is
one
through.
if they want one of his heroes right away.
I could see Cloud9 first picking that for Fata. I feel like we haven't seen him play that much recently, but
The Zeus is out there.
Plays a good
That's definitely
Shadow
a big
Fiend.
hero for Fata, so they could grab early. Bat Rider is also in the pool.
And Sniper.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they kind of get to pick which. Okay, there we go. They're going to get the sniper first. They generally, I think, exclusively play this on Envy. I can't remember
I
seeing
believe
Fata
it
play
is.
sniper.
Yeah, and oftentimes even goes to the safe lane. I've seen from a sniper. Most teams tend to run this hero mid. Like Vici Gaming, it's pretty much always super taking it there. So, well, what about for Tinker? There's a lot of good gap closers here. There's the Batrider, the Clockwork. Normally, we see teams want to get at least one of those versus a sniper, if not more.
I think they want the Batrider. I think Batrider would be a nice pick, or the Clock. Okay. Yeah. So one of those two, and they go for the Clockwork. He's one of the key heroes against Sniper. Of course, the long-range hookshot is one of the ways of getting in and isolating him. I feel like the Shadow Fiend versus Sniper matchup isn't that good for Shadow Fiend, though. I'm not talking the lane, but just overall in the game. Shadow Fiend has okay range, but Sniper obviously outranging him, and it's a big problem for Shadow Fiend to get headshot.
Especially if you get like a Big Daddy Earthshaker here. That duo can just devastate a Shadow Fiend, potentially.
Well, what about Tinker? Do they...
10 seconds remaining.
I can't remember. I think Black does play the Shadow Fiend from time to time, and Koikva. Like, they take turns.
He played it occasionally for Vici Gaming. There was one game that really stood out where, okay, they're going to favor a Vision hero here. So they now have the Shrapnel and the Double Hawk to work with Sin. This is pretty much Cloud9 in a nutshell.
Yeah.
We have seen, I think, the very occasional support Beastmaster, but generally it's been in the off lane. Is that right? I believe so.
I think Fata will play it mid. The Beast.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So that would suggest the Envy Sniper safe lane, then Fata's Beastmaster going mid.
I think so. It's a really cool combination of heroes where, you know, the Primal Roar sets up a long single target stun. It's very easy to get an Assassinate off. You know what fight you're getting into with a superior vision you're going to have, and you even have vision from Shrapnel. I don't know if you mentioned that, but they have a secondary vision source here. So
speaking of vision heroes, guess who gets banned? That 4-position Night Stalker that we often see. It was popularized by a lot of the CIS teams. Empire was even running offlane for Yoki, who loves these less popular, less conventional picks. But nowadays, Night Stalker more and more seems like a pretty staple second stage pick if you really want that tanky frontliner who can apply some early pressure.
Yep. Well. I wonder what Tinker are thinking here, because they obviously know that there's a lot of vision in Cloud9. I don't think you're afraid of the Bounty Hunter now. I think that's overkill. You probably just leave that in the pool if Cloud9 want it, and you try to focus on... I think you focus on securing and trying to win your lanes. So possibly getting some really strong supports early on would be pretty key. So not like the Omni Knight protective support, but rather someone who can, for example, gank for Clockwork's lane, kill that sniper perhaps. As they're going to ban out the Lich first here. A hero that Cloud9 do play on occasion. I think they just want to secure their Shadow Fiend the mid lane more than anything with this ban.
Yeah, and as far as that Shadow Fiend goes, there's still both supports to be picked up for Tinker, so they could get a defensive support of their own. The Shaker, maybe something like a Dazzle. We've seen a lot more Dazzle picks lately. Obviously, the Weave goes really well with the physical damage-heavy style that most teams are playing, and Grave is always fantastic. Oh, Cloud9 now, working on their 4th ban. And coming out of this phase, it will be Tinker with the first pick. So you're up against Beastmaster Sniper. This is a pretty annoying duo if you just have one strong carry. You get roared, you're getting slowed down by the headshots and fighting through Shrapnel. So we're expecting another core for them. Black's hero could be the Shadow Fiend. If it's Koik for Shadow Fiend, then we'll see something else for Black. But we got the Bulba Clocks. They need 2 supports of 1 core.
I think Phantom Lancer is really good against Cloud9's heroes so far.
They do not have a whole lot of AoE to deal with those illusions.
Yeah, Primal Roar takes a little bit of time to cast, so you can actually disjoint it, or not disjoint it, but you can avoid him from casting it with Doppelganger. He's a great hero once he gets up close and personal to Sniper. He has the charge to get in range. He has Doppelganger to, once Sniper gets caught by PL, he's screwed. Like, you don't really have any sort of safety net at that point. And they can set up the PL nicely with the Clockwork, so I think it's the hero they might be considering for Black. I don't think they grab it yet, though. As Cloud9, as we talked about, they usually play the Sniper on Envy, and then who plays the PL? Do they play offlane PL on Bone 7 ever?
I don't think so. I haven't seen
remember seeing that.
They do have room to be a little bit greedier for Bone 7 if Fata's on the Beastmaster, I guess. Tinker are going to go Chen. So this is something that we saw back in DAC. Hyper Glory team was running it like every game, just Shadow Fiend Chen, Shadow Fiend Chen. And Secret was the team that did it well. That actually had a lot of good results with it. But it seems like with the Chen, that's really the key part of this. Most Shadow Fiend players are pretty competent at getting their early CS, play defensively, not dying. But it seems like for a lot of Chen players, there's often that struggle of how much do you focus on securing the Shadow Fiend's farm, ganking his lane, pressuring his lane, and how much do you spend on stacking your own jungle, getting a fast level 6, getting the early mech, and you're always trying to choose between the 2 heroes. Like, who's farming the stacks? Is Chen going in with the Wildkin? Is Shadow Fiend clearing them with raises? I guess we're going to have to wait and see these next two picks, but it's just something to keep in mind with that pair of heroes.
Yeah, the nice thing about Chen is that you take your first creep and you send it mid, and that gets Shadow Fiend a head start, and then you can just leave him alone. In comparison to a lot of other mid matchups where you might need to you need to keep helping out, you need to keep building the advantage, where Shadow Fiend himself, with just an early few CS, he can actually win most matchups. And if he's against a Beastmaster, that should be a fairly easy lane for Shadow Fiend. Generally crushes melee heroes in lane, so...
it's still possible they could throw the sniper mid, put the Beastmaster in the off lane, and run something else safe lane.
They could do that.
And that sniper Earthshaker duo has been pretty potent against Shadow Fiend's mid traditionally. Something that Vici Gaming especially was dominant with at DAC.
It is possible that Cloud9 are thinking it, and perhaps it's a trick here where Team Tinker are just stuck in the mindset that Fata always plays Beastmaster, Envy always plays Sniper, and they always lane like this, and then maybe they pull something else out of the bag here, but... I would still assume that Cloud9 do the obvious and standard thing, of course, until we see anything else. And with the pick so far, it still seems pretty likely that the Shaker is more of a defensive pick to protect the Sniper rather than to protect the Beastmaster mid. Although, of course, when it comes to Chen rotations, any sort of disable creep like the Troll and Snare or a Centaur Stomp can set up double raises and make it very difficult. And now they're also going to grab the Lion, which, surprisingly for me, actually made it to the 4th or the 7th overall pick here. I feel like this is a very strong support in this version.
He's one of Tinker's favorite supports, and in fact, I believe Lion's their most picked overall hero, even above the Storm and the Shadow Fiend. He's definitely one of their most picked. So this is the one support they get almost every game if they can. But like you said, they get to wait quite a while. Now, how good of a Lion game do you think it is? Do you see him getting a lot of space to get that early Blink Dagger? Are there a lot of heroes that he can go on? Or is this going to be like a struggling kind of almost 6th position Lion?
I think the game plan here for Tinker is, like we talked about, secure Shadow Fiend mid. Maybe they make one gank. Here comes the Phoenix pick, by the way. No surprise, I guess.
Surprising that it gets through this late.
Yeah,
and that there's no real direct counter pick to it in the draft.
But yeah, I think Lion is actually going to be okay in this game if their safe lane carry is a hero that can transition into the jungle. So one of the things we see a lot these days is that the safe lane carry gets picked either is a Morbid Mask hero or an illusion-based hero that can go into taking the jungle with very little risk. And then you give your position 4 or position 5 support a safe lane for, say, 3, 4, 5 minutes until you have a key item. And Lion is one of those heroes that just has an incredible payout with that 2k gold invested into the Blink. If you compare him to most other supports, you give them a Blink Dagger, it's just not the same as having that Blink
Like,
Hex
give the Shaker a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, that's
maybe
huge
late
too.
game it does a lot, but like early to mid game, Echo Slam isn't really that scary. It doesn't do that much damage.
And if you compare it to, let's say, other trendy supports like Vengeful Spirit and Witch Doctor, like those 2k gold, not really the same payout as a Blink Lion.
What do you? I mean, you get the point booster. Maybe you're working on your eggs, but it's not done yet. So
it's not the same. So like the timing here, I would really like to see them pick up PL. I still think it's a fantastic pick. Even picking it into Earthshaker, which, you know, is kind of regarded as one of the decent counter picks because of Echo Slime against illusions, but there's a couple of things that need to happen first. First of all, there needs to be a lot of illusions. Secondly, he needs to put himself in a position where Shaker can jump, and they have a Clockwork who can actually counter that if they want, or the Blink on Lion that I'm expecting we'll see. PL can go into the jungle very early. You get a couple of points in stats and one in Juxtapose and focus on leveling up your Spirit Lance. The very classic PL build right now, 4, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then stats kind of like AM, but just you put in some extra points into the first
Speaking
skill.
of AM, those get banned out here.
All right, they're going to get PA. She can also jungle. You get a Morbid Mask and you can rotate in.
This gives Tinker a pretty solid late game. Not the Chen and the Clockwork often tend to fall off a little bit, but PA, great gap closing carry, something that you generally want to have against a sniper, and also a hero that really we want to roar in the fight. So if you're roaring this PA, then Shadow Fiend's getting to do his thing. It does give them a solid dual core setup, so overall a pretty standard Tinker draft for this
She
game.
does suffer a lot from playing against Phoenix, though.
As well as Beastmaster. Like, you've got the Boar Slow, the Roar, the Fire Spirits, which really are a pain in the rear for that PA.
Of course, you do get quite a bit of attack speed from the Blink Strike, but it kind of evens out the minus attack speed from the Fire Spirits, and then you end up Blink Striking where you usually do a lot of damage and you just end up hitting with regular attack speed. It's not really that impressive. Interesting matchup, by the way, PA versus Sniper. Sniper, of course, with the headshot, which can't be evaded. So every 40 or 4 out of 10 of Sniper shots are guaranteed hits on PA, regardless of the level.
He's got a pseudo MKB, basically.
Which is it's a really interesting matchup because when Sniper's on a distance, he actually does very well against PA compared to other carries, but he is horrible when she catches up. So it's going to be a little bit of...
It's like if you get off that initial like bash or abyssal, like, Sniper's just 9 times out of 10 just flat out dead.
One really nice thing we haven't mentioned, though, about PA is the synergy with Clockwork, with catching someone in Cog sets up very nicely for a Blink Strike into multiple attacks inside the Cogs. But at the same time, then you also stack up, and that's very risky against Shaker and Phoenix. So it can work here. I think, for me, more importantly than anything, Tinker last picked a carry that I think they want to rotate into the jungle and get Lion to Blink. I think the absolute most key item on Team Tinker's lineup in this game is the Lion's Blink and BKBs on PA and Shadowfiend, so they can fight. Like, until they have BKBs, I don't see them winning team fights.
It's also good if even if they, like you see that Chen Shadowfiend, oftentimes it's like, okay, this lineup wants to take some early towers. That's very dangerous against Cloud9. You could get caught out by a fissure, a hero who overextends gets roared and focused. You're diving into a supernova. At Sniper, just one of the best tower defense heroes, probably the best in the game, to be honest. So they may not, like you, even though this draft looks like that style, they may not be able to really apply that much pressure to towers early, but it will be a Lina here to round things off, Send.
Yeah, so they're going to have Earthshaker Lina as support duo, not one of the most conventional duos. Lina as position 4 has gained a lot of popularity recently, where you focus on getting that Ewells early. I think one of the key teams you see doing this a lot is, I think both NIP and EG stand out teams that focus on that. I think NIP also play it in the mid lane sometimes, but I guess standout player for this, Aoi 2000 on Lina, tries to efficiently farm up that Ewells, becomes extremely powerful with just this one key item. You can do a lot of work.
And it's really easy when PPD is your captain, because he gives you a lot of space as that 5-position support.
But No Tail plays a very good sacrificial Earthshaker as well. So it's entirely possible that this will be a very farm-heavy game, and they try to transition Lina into maybe more of a semi-carry in this game, actually.
And it's a good game for Lina to be in that position. You've got great kind of bodyguards in the front lines with the Earthshaker as well as the Beastmaster potentially. And
you want an Ags on this Lina in this game against these BKB carries. Aghanim Scepter Lina destroys Phantom Assassin. It's extremely good against it. It's also very, very good against Shadowfiend. And until Black on this PA manages to grab himself a really tanky item like, say, a Satanic or maybe an Eye of Skadi, this Lina ultimate with an Aghanims at some point into the game could actually could just take out 2/3 of his health instantly.
All right, Sind. Well, with that said, we're going to get underway here for Game 1 of our opening best of 3. It's Cloud9 taking on Team Tinker. Cloud9 on the Dire side will begin by introducing their roster. We are going to have Eternal Envy playing Firen, or the Sniper. Big Daddy on one of his signature heroes, the Earthshaker. Fauna will be playing that Beastmaster, likely to be heading towards mid. It'll be Bone7 on a Core Phoenix into the offlane, and last but not least here, we'll go Musari, or more commonly known as Misery, on the Lina. In the meantime, introducing Team Tinker, we've got Black, the German transplant now, playing at the Team House over in North America. He has journeyed back to Europe here for Bucharest, and he will be on the PA. You've got Koikfa on the Shadowfiend. It will be, I believe, a way to Chen here, Mr. Pink Panda, and that does leave Bulba on the Clockwork and Pylai Dai on the Light.
And this looks like it could be a fight for the rune, or maybe they're just gonna, I think they're gonna let Tinker have it. And they're gonna trade 1 for 1. They secure the top rune here, probably gonna go to Fata on the Beastmaster, getting a fast bottle, and Shadowfiend gets the other. So very standard. You give the runes to the mid laners. I think this favors Shadowfiend maybe a bit more than the Beastmaster. Getting a little bit of a head start in this lane because of this. We'll be able to get a faster bottle. Of course, Beastmaster will as well, but we're expecting Shadowfiend to take control of this lane. So if he doesn't get this bounty rune and Beastmaster does, this can change the outcome of the lane quite a bit, but yeah, they're pretty even as... Wow, Koikfa is really laying into Fata from the get-go.
Yeah, normally, you see the Shadowfiend just focus on those last hits. It's often range versus range in the mid lane nowadays, but when you're up against a melee hero, want to get in that early harassment. Still, Beastmaster, a pretty tanky hero with the 4 armor at level 1. Good HP pool. We may see him even pick up a Stout Shield if he really feels like he needs it. So, it will be the offlane Phoenix, and I believe he got a fissure block to start the lane, judging by where the creeps are. So, Bone7 off to a decent start. He's getting some okay experience here, and matching him. Bulba struggling a bit more. He is up against a Sniper. It is not going to be easy to stay in EXP range as the levels start to come out.
It's very important that Bone7 gets this head start, because this is actually not an easy lane by any means for the Phoenix. Going to get engaged on here by Pylai Dai. He did not manage to Hex during the Icarus dive, so Bone7 will be getting out. But this lane is pretty interesting because when PA hits level 2, it's actually both heroes rather in this lane hit level 2. Both Lion and PA can probably kill Phoenix from full health. This hero has 0 armor, very bad move speed, and very bad base health. So this lockdown duration from Lion, as well as a lot of attacks from PA, can actually bring down...
And Lion got that base base damage improvement in the most
Yeah.
recent patch. It's like, I think it was 8 damage or
7 or 8.
7 or 8, something like that. It was a lot. Mid lane, they are trying to make the go here on Koikfa. Big Daddy came in with the fissure. They're trying to cut him off. Fada very low, though. Doesn't really have any mana to work with. And Big Daddy going to clarity up. Koikfa may just need to turn around and cancel this. Uh-oh, he's about to get the mana. Not going to walk up that hill, though. Chen was waiting. As we see Pi starting to pressure Bone 7 back a bit. A lot of early back and forth in this mid lane, but so far it seems like the Shadow Fiend has gotten his early CS. Now, Koikfa, 11 souls in the bank. He actually took Necromastery 2 early on just to get some extra early damage coming
This
out.
is very interesting when you're playing against a melee hero where you usually want to put a lot of pressure with Shadow Rays,
Oh,
but
poor
I think he's
Bulba.
just prioritizing farming a lot here.
Just got his salve cancel. Only has the one Tango left. He may need to ferry out some regen here soon. But
gonna have a hard
he's
time.
getting okay experience, it seems.
Phoenix is struggling more though, and this hero. I don't know if Bone 7 can actually come back to this lane. If they can keep the equilibrium where they have it right now, or maybe a little bit further back for Team Tinker, this Phoenix dies from full health to these two heroes. So it is a pretty tricky situation for Bone 7 where they might have to do some smart rotations or perhaps protect him with the Shaker, who, by the way, I don't know if you mentioned his early item build, but he went for Tangos and 6 Clarities on his Shaker.
I did not have a
really
chance to
hard
point that out.
sacrificial Shaker as expected from No-Tail, who just...
This is like, I'm not getting a bottle. There's no arcane boots for me. I'm just
No.
going to make do with clarities for a while.
But this early game laning stage for Tinker is actually, I feel like it's going according to plan. Their Shadow Fiend, like you said, has a good start. Top of the charts on farm is Black. Chen also getting to spend some time in the jungle now after rotating a little bit to help out. Has a stack here.
I mean, Black has an Arcana as well, so each creep's like worth 2, basically. You're guaranteed double the crits already. So
bonus points. Where's Koikfest?
no such luck. Well, double boars are out now for Fada. This can help you rune control a little bit. I guess for looking at Cloud9, the key level for them right now is going to be Fada's level 6. Once you see the Beastmaster get it, most often either they bring a support to try and gank his lane, or he makes a move with the smoke to try and set up a kill elsewhere on the map, and he is closing in on that level 6.
Also scouting out here a bit with the Hawk. We'll find this double stack of Chens where, by the way, the Wild Wing has decided to turn into a statue for unknown reasons.
He's I'm not dancing for you anymore, okay? I've done enough of that in my career. I'm just here to chill, take it easy.
Like, I don't know how these things happen.
Chen is just a cruel master, man. He's like, dance for me now, you fool.
He takes it over. All right. Well, at
Inevitably,
least
the
it
Wild
obeys.
Kid listens.
It would have been funny if it was still a statue when he took it over and it just refused to move. But yeah, he's going to do a little bit of a rotation here. Has the smoke ready. He's going to smoke Pile Die. There was no dire
Dire's
ward
top
here.
tower is under attack.
As we're going to see Koikfa in the mid lane just farming it up a little bit. Fada trying to take some CS as well, and he will get hexed out. Caught out. Could be your first blood coming out. The troll trap's there. The raises over the top. One more auto tech. They get the kill. It goes to Bulba, who snipes it courtesy of a rocket. Wasn't really the ideal hero to grab that one, but he'll take it. Does give him some useful experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's actually... I think that's a decent hero to get it on. He had a really hard time in the top lane, and this does give him a little bit of a comeback. What is it flying up here? He will get his bottle as a result, actually, so... I think that was the best hero they could have got.
It actually turned... Normally, you'd probably say the clock isn't, but because of the situation in the lane, it turns out to be pretty good. Swinging around is Mr. Pink Panda. He's going to plink Moosery here just with the Dark Troll, and then backs off as Black looks to dive. Bone 7 trying to retreat out here, letting the
screwed.
Sunray go.
Stick it out.
Easy pickings. And that's going to be Black now with level 6.5. Still looking very good on the farm, tied with Eternal Envy. But here's the thing. So both PA and Shadow Fiend are actually tied with the Sniper, right? And then you have a Beastmaster on the side of C9 who's also doing very well. Fata getting 30 CS at this point in this mid lane I think is very good. But what's the impact of this farm? Is it... I think we're going to see Fata go for... okay. Interesting pause.
Oh, the spectator pause.
Thank you, Final, for joining the game.
Always makes the players happy. Fissure is going to come out here, though. Catches out way too. There's your follow-up stun from the Lina. The Chen Creep's doing good work, though. Turns with the Test of Faith. Rolls a pretty low damage amount there. It's only level 1, unfortunately, so it doesn't have a whole lot to work with.
Oh, nice stun as well.
We're trying to work on these creeps. The whole gang's coming in. Even Eternal Envy's like, I want a little piece of this action. Give me those delicious Chen Creeps. They try to retreat, but he can't bring them back. And he may lose the entire army here. They're just pursuing them to the ends of the earth. Another Dragon Slave. They wipe out 3 Chen Creeps there. So pretty big bounty claimed in the end by Team Cloud9.
Yeah, this is going to take a little bit of time for Way Too Sexy to get these back, as he's Well, he's level 3 on the Chen. I think he should be focusing a little bit more on farming. As like the situation right now is that both of their farming cores are doing very well. So now it's Chen's time to go a little bit greedy as well, so he can get that level 6, that level 7, and it kind of goes very well hand in hand with the timings of PA and Shadow Fiend getting their first core items with Chen's level 7 if he keeps farming now. But at the same time, Cloud9 are also starting to hit their stride now. Sniper getting level 6, he's going to show off the Assassinate to
Just get a little love
Bulba
tap,
in
you
the
know?
top lane and-
Just poke him, let him know you're still there.
Fats is level 7, so he's got 2 of the very strong boars. You should really not underestimate the damage of these things. They've got 60 damage each, and he has the Aurora and Bone 7 in position for a gank here as well for him.
They are rather annoying to deal with, as we're going to see Team Tinker just continue to farm up as much as possible. Black is currently doing well in terms of net worth. And you mentioned oftentimes the PA will go into the jungle. Well, if he wants to take that approach, he's very close to it. He's now got 1,000 gold in the bank, but Treads and Aquila picked up, which he just showed over in the bottom lane, and could go straight into that Morbid Mask if he wants to head off and give his line a little more space. For now, that space is something Pieliedie is searching for mid. Continues to CS. The Boars pushing pretty hard here, though. Well, the one they don't miss anyway. A couple of misses.
Oh, this is trouble for Pi. I think there's the Fissure, and Roar should be available. Actually, not even
Follow-up
going to
stun.
need
They
it.
bring in 4 heroes just for the little lion, and by golly, they get him. Nice kill. Looking to turn this one around, though, is Bulba. Gets Eyes on Misery, but
No hook shot.
he will retreat.
He's going to need to find that level 6 on Clockwork. That's a key level. Speaking of key levels, Bone 7. Level 5 on Phoenix coming up.
Yeah, now I guess the key thing to keep an eye on right now for Tinker is not only those levels, but if the PA wants to make an early rotation. Generally, we see PAs just focus on farming, get that first item, like the Dominator, go into the woods, but right now Black is the strongest hero on his team, so along with the Shadow Fiend. So if there's an opportunity to rotate in and try and turn a gank, something we may see from him. Does have the teleport scroll picked up. Still continuing to chill over in the bottom lane and farm. Hasn't really made any rotations as of yet, as we will see Team Tinker just abandon the offlane. They're now trying to defensively position themselves over near their own side of the map.
And as you talked about during the draft, the problem here is the jungle big enough for everyone? They want the Shadow Fiend to get a piece of it, they want the Chen to get a piece of it, and if they rotate PA as well to get a piece of it, someone is missing out. And then you get your line, the safe lane, which I still think would be a great choice. But when they do that, they probably need to find another way of utilizing the Chen, because the PA every minute realistically can probably clear 3 or 4 camps. And, well, if you want Shadow Fiend to raise one of them as well, then there's nothing left for poor old Chen. So,
Yeah, it's always those trade-offs with the team. And even in the laning stage, like Tinker they stacked the one big camp a bit, which we saw was scouted out later by Cloud9's Hawk, but they didn't really stack this camp at all, the one that's close to the middle lane. And, you know, ideally you'd like to see multiple big stacks so the Chen and the Shadow Fiend are both getting their space, but Chen's time is a limited resource. He only has so many creeps to move around. Early on, he doesn't have too many to work with, so those are the trade-offs that you have to decide how you want to make as Team Tinker.
And he is getting countered out nicely by Fata with the Hawk, of course, can be super annoying for Chen to deal with. Another Assassinate in the top lane, going to throw it onto Pieliedie.
That is just annoying. Like, at
Kind
this
of a
point, if he
waste.
shows himself, if he shows himself, he's dead to a shrapnel, pretty much.
Oh, he's going to regen this up with Tranquils in
That's
like
true.
20 seconds, so seems a little bit of a waste. But
That's
still, he asserts his dominance. He peeps him a little bit and
Yeah.
puts him under pressure. Would still like to see Pieliedie playing a little bit more of a farming role. He's actually going to try again, like you said. Maybe it's going to, almost going to work.
The hook's there
Shot.
to interrupt it, though. Coming in is Bulba. Even pushes the Turtle Envy back. Bails out his... Well, he bails out his buddy in the end, but they end up bringing in 2 heroes. Even Black showing himself there with the dagger, and that's unfortunate when you see... It's one thing to bring in the Clockwork, he saves the day, but then the PA comes in, they don't get anything done. Nice
Perfect
defensive
fissure.
fissure there by Big Daddy to
Really,
let them
really
back
good.
off.
Before the cogs come out, and then Envy gets to create a little bit of space, or he makes a little gap, and Clockwork can't catch him there. So very nice.
Koikfa just continuing to farm up as much as possible, but he will get scouted out here. There's the roar from Fata. Now the follow-up damage comes through from the Lina. Not yet level 6. Koikfa had a DD rune, but he was just chain stunned, focused down. Already the Necro 1 reveal, but now Black sees an opening. He lurches forward. He's got a level 4 dagger. He could chase this one a bit. No more Blake Strike, though. He's going to focus on the Necro book. Gets a little bit of bonus gold for his trouble.
Yeah,
So it
this
ends
is
up being a 1-for-1, but a support Lina for a core Shadow Fiend seems like something Cloud9 will be pretty happy with.
Yeah, they still used the smoke for it, though.
That's
And
true.
They're a limited resource here, so I want to call this a fairly even trade all in all with the smoke being used for it. And good call from Black to not pursue that kill. It's very scary pushing up to high ground like this into the fog against the Dire lineup where suddenly a Phoenix could show up or a Shaker, or maybe even the Sniper could port in and you would be in a lot of trouble.
So what do you think, Sin? I want to ask your opinion, because we see different builds on Phantom Assassin. The favorite pub build is always the Battle Fury. Not something we see particularly often in professional play. I know Havost has gone for it a few times. He's also done the same on Void, like even back before.
And Arteezy likes it too.
Arteezy does like it from time to time. Is this the game for Battle Fury? How do you make that decision as a player, and do you think this is the right time to go for it?
I think it's pretty good. He's got good farm. He's 2-0. Cloud9 aren't really pressuring the map that much. It doesn't look like they have any intentions of pushing towers early. Their lineup isn't really that good for it either. That's another thing. Like their sieging potential is not that amazing. Beastmaster and Sniper are pretty good, but the other three heroes don't really offer that much when it comes to sieging. So I think taking the farming approach is perfectly fine until Cloud9... Well, if they want to play the farming game with a Sniper against a PA and Shadow Fiend farming very heavily, I think Tinker are more than happy to take that trade.
All right, well, for now it seems that farming game is the way they want to take this one, as a rocket will be fired out, and it goes in top lane. There's the hook from Volva. Tries to follow this one up. There's the Figure of Death as well. They might even get Eternal Envy here, but they've already lost one. It's going to be two going down in the end, and Cloud9 able to react nicely there and turn that fight. Supernova was expended, but at this stage of the game, you're happy to do that if you get the 2-for-1. Although, losing the Sniper, that's not really ideal for them.
It's a very quick reaction here from Cloud9. They were in the right place at the right time. Maybe even predicted the rotation here. They've got some very nice aggressive wards here, so probably saw this coming up. And well, Golden experience-wise, though, we haven't really talked so much about the graphs, but it's looking really good for Tinker with this early game. And if this Battle Fury build comes into play as well, we could see this getting out of control within the next 10 to 15 minutes, actually, even.
And as the analysts were talking about, as Iori was bringing it up, I think something that Purge was harping on as well is they tend to really favor just farming two heroes and getting them super fat, but they're doing it. And Quakefa, the leader in net worth this game, already level 11. Yule's complete, can start looking for pickoffs of his own, and more difficult to gank, as he will race down the Hawk here. That was trying to be an irritant in the creep camp, but yeah, between these two, they're sitting almost at, well, what is that? Like almost 13K net worth together.
And then the question is how it comes into play, right? Because it's good that their cores are farming well, but this is a dirt poor Lion. Like he barely got any CS. He's now as he wards, but he went to this bottom lane and took, I think, 1 or 2 creep waves, and that's all he's taken. He's still level 6, minute 14, which isn't all that bad, but I still think they need to give... Like, it's great to farm these cores that well, but they're now so strong that they can easily farm the jungle very fast. They can farm Ancients with the PA. Also, the Shadow Fiend can do that, quickly raising the mid lane, and then give this Lion some space so he can become relevant. It could become a problem here for Tinker that they have these 2 super farm cores, but everyone else, if you look at the net worth distribution, it's really skewed, right? The other heroes pretty far behind.
Yeah, they definitely believe in the letting the rich get richer, and the poor players, unfortunately, continue to stay in Povertyville. But we are going to see a bit of a trade here, or at least an attempted one. Cloud9 showed a few heroes may end up quite a little pressure on the creep wave, but it's Tinker who end up taking the first tower. They'll back off after doing so. Let's see where the teams head next. For now, in the top lane, Eternal Envy going to work on the tier 1, just chips away at it bit by bit. Another aggressive positioning from him as he has completed a Sange, going for a fairly tanky first item. It seems like he's a bit worried about just getting blown up by that combo we just saw, the hook shot into the Finger of Death.
Yeah, this is the very standard build-up for snipers nowadays, is to get the Sange before the Yasha most of the time. It's a pretty interesting trend that you wouldn't really have imagined 2 months ago.
It's funny because like the first build that got really popular was the Mask of Madness Yasha as, Radiant Courier actually getting sniped here. It is only
and
carrying
maybe
an
more.
Iron Bridge.
Bone is boned.
Oh, they bring down the Phoenix in the end. Hex was used. Finger also deployed. That's 2 successful ganks now. Black tries to spend his gold here. No, actually just going to try to TP out, but it gets canceled by Fissure. Now the Hand of God coming through. Mech as well. They save him, but another stun still chasing out of this Phantom Assassin. Now the Roar. Looking for way to. They're going to club him down too. It ends up being a 2-for-1, including that Phoenix Echo Slam on the creeps. They're going to get the whole Chen army as well. A massive take there by Cloud9, and on the back of that, they walk into the Roche pit, scouted out by a Clockwork Rocket. But Cloud9, they fear nothing at this point. The Necro 3's out. They've got their Sniper in the pit, and they are looking for their first Aegis of the game.
That was a very awkward TP from Black in the middle of nowhere here, and that ends up costing them a hell of a lot.
And the worst part is he didn't even buy the Battle Fury, although it turns out he almost has the gold for it, but they'll waste a bit of reliable gold there. Or unreliable gold, I should say, as they'll take the Aegis. Easily claimed by Cloud9.
That's pretty much a full-on comeback into the game. All of a sudden, Beastmaster now leading the net worth. After that one fight,
how quickly the tides turn.
Look at that. It's like almost 4,000 gold swing and experience from that one.
And that's the Aegis as
misplay.
well, which may allow them to get a bit more. They will try to swoop in on Koikfa. He quickly blinks away. He's going to retreat out. In the meantime, though, they're going to hold back at this tier 1 tower. Eternal Envy has opted for the Mask of Madness next, so most likely we'll see that Sanjin Yasha coming out for the super mobile, not super glass cannon, but a little bit squishy sniper style. That tends to be the popular way to play him nowadays.
Yeah, but he has a really nice team around him in this game to go for this build. Defensive Fissure, Supernova can draw attention away from the sniper. Plenty of AoE stuns, plenty of slows. Like their lineup is actually really well built, and I'm afraid for Team Tinker that this one mistake actually...
It completely evened out the game.
They built such a nice lead, and then they just lost everything they built in 30 seconds. And now Cloud9 even going to use this to try to play even more aggressively now on the map with this pick-off. And
a lot of pains coming out here from both teams towards the bottom side of the map. We're going to see Eternal Envy starts to feel a little more confident now after that fight's in. He's going to maybe look to post himself up for here in the top lane. No. In the meanwhile, where did Tinker go from here after that fight, do you think? Having lost such a big engagement. Oh, top lane, there's your assassinate.
That's
Crouching
not where you
sniper,
go.
hit him assassinate, just blows up the line. And this is why it seems like he's really not able to find the farm. Bulba gonna miss on his hook shot, won't even attempt pursuit after that. And in the meanwhile, a wild Fada appears. They smoked in for this, and they're gonna find a quick takedown. Now the Requiem might be able to turn this one, gets Fada, nails him with the whole combo, and we'll quickly bring him down. Will they find anything additional here? Raze comes out from Koikfa once again. Rocket, a little more chip damage, bringing Misery into the danger zone, but now he's gonna limp back, protected by a Vanguard here, as Cloud9 will retreat out in the end.
Yeah, nice Requiem here from Koikfa. Brings him back to the top of the net worth chart. And
Dire's middle tower
it's an
is under
18-minute
attack.
Midas picked up by Phoenix there. The interesting thing about getting Midas in this hero, it's the build these days, right? Everyone seems to get Midas in the hero.
Even on the support Phoenixes, you normally see
Yeah.
the Midas come out.
This hero is all about getting level 11 and level 16. He, in theory, doesn't really need
Bottom
any
tower is
items
under attack.
because of how Supernova works and doesn't scale with anything, right? It's
Yeah.
all about getting, you fly in, you get your stuff off. If you can get a Shivas or
I guess
or
a veil
or something, it's
can be nice,
amazing,
but
right?
it's such a luxury
It's
item.
really luxury, and it's all about getting the levels. And with this Midas, it seems like 18 minutes is pretty late by Bone 7 standards on this hero, but ultimately, it's probably a good enough timing for the way this game is going.
Bulba gonna fire a rocket, he hooks right in, it's on to Bone 7 here, gets trapped, fingered, instantly brought down. They get that Phoenix, and now the chase comes out black. Crit number 1, doesn't want to engage a bit further, perhaps worried about the Echo Slam. Big Daddy's gonna go for it, turns with the totem, oh, misses on the club. Bit unfortunate there, and he will end up dropping. Nice 2-for-0 exchange. Tinker striking back and looking to bring back that early lead that they had claimed.
Yeah. This is becoming a very... Look at the graph.
It's just one team wins a fight, and suddenly the graph just jerks up or down a couple thousand gold.
Welcome to the valley.
Are we in a valley here? Is that? I don't know much about the geography in Romania, unfortunately.
I actually have no idea. But
It sounded good anyway.
Pilot Eye is actually getting close to his blink now, which is something I've been talking a lot about in this game, and I still think you saw in this engagement, right? That Clockwork is the one setting up the fight, which is obviously great if they can get away with it, but getting the more options and the more flexibility out of their line is going to be key, and he's getting close over time now. Maybe sub 25 blink is okay.
I want to go back to, you mentioned the blink. The other big thing that you mentioned, which I imagine is still relevant, is the double BKB for this
Yep.
team. Well, when they get those, they get a lot scarier. And Cloud9, for the most part, primarily magic damage right now. They don't have the Lina Ags. It's a support Lina. We're not going to see it anytime soon. Uh-oh. Top lane, Koikfa getting roared. Can Fada bring him down solo? No, Koikfa just got to quickly TP out. Axe is coming through. Necro 3, not quite enough. He almost solo kills the Shadow Feed.
He actually only lived because of Hand of God.
Yeah,
he
that
would
was
have died
close.
there.
Meanwhile, Black does grab a nice deny mid lane. But still, the tower's starting to drop more and more here for Tinker. As they will lose 2 of their tier 1s, only the bottom now remaining.
Yeah, and that one isn't looking in good shape either. Actually.
They've all seen better days, man, that's for sure.
But yeah, we were talking about BKBs, both of them coming up very soon, and I think that might be Tinker's time to make a play as a Highlight Eye.
So much for that blink, man. He is just getting pounded this game. Meanwhile, looking across the board, Big Daddy is at least picked up
nice
the arcade
fissure.
boots. Now they're going to find Koi for the stun. Mistimed here, though. The Shadow Fiend Yule's able to dodge that one. And he will make his way out.
I think that might actually be fortunate for Cloud9 that they didn't land that combo, because that could have probably turned against them pretty hard there.
Yeah, they'd shown themselves bottom a while ago, so at that point you have to expect Taker's going to be looking to rotate in. These Cloud9 are going to poke back and forth here. In the mid lane, Fada is off farming as the Beastmaster. He has not picked up a Blake, so he becomes a real scary force for them in the mid game. And you know what's crazy about the Beastmaster isn't that he's picked up these items, but he's doing it while constantly pressuring the lanes. He's almost killed the Shadow Fiend, he's taking towers, he helped them secure Roshan, and he is not gone for a Midas. He's playing like more of a 3-position Beastmaster, but still right up there in terms of net worth.
Yeah, this is one of Fada's absolutely best heroes.
Dire's
And
top tower is under attack.
he's been having a really good game here. The question is if everyone else in Cloud9 can keep up. Like the Sniper of Eternal Envy is looking pretty good on farm, but by nature of the hero, can't really outfarm neither a PA nor a Shadow Fiend if they all get free farm.
And it's also a very dangerous game for Sniper. Losing the tier 1 top as well as the tier 1 bottom, there's only really mid lane that's somewhat safe to sit in CS. Otherwise, you have to worry about pressure coming from your jungle. You have to worry about the clockwork. Soon the Lion, if he's ever able to finish that pesky Blake that he just can't seem to farm. As well as the PA. All three of these heroes can just go on you, and they don't have that Vengeful Spirit. They have an Earthshaker, okay hero to disengage, but now that Black has a BKB, which he just reveals now top lane, you really have no easy way to get the Sniper out. Other than Force Staffs, but so far we're not seeing any.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
A nice Hawk Snipe here coming up from Piladai. Finds it with the Earth Spike.
They're going to begin to pressure this top tower. The siege engine for now will be Koikfa, who continues to raise out the waves top lane. It looks like Cloud9 just want to trade, avoid a fight for now. They're pressuring in bottom.
Dire's structures
Boba will
are
move in.
fortified.
Real aggressive play there by him. Had a
Radiant's
double
bottom
damage rune,
tower is under
as well as a
attack.
haste, which he's now going to not able to find a kill, but still
Radiant's
securing this tier
structures
2.
are fortified.
With this, Cloud9 will not be able to contest. They try to pressure bottom, and the big question is, do
Dire's
Tinker
top
look to
tower
defend this
has fallen.
tower? Doesn't seem like it. They're going to let Misery
Radiant's
take it.
bottom tower
Last hit go into the
is
creeps.
Radiant's bottom
Not quite
tower
ideal,
has
but
fallen.
still happy to trade a 1-for-1 tower. Right now, it just looks like Tinker are a bit stronger, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Cloud9 want the Ags on Lina before they fight. Actually, it's probably the most important item for them to pick up right now. Of course, a Blink Dagger or a Force Staff on Shaker would also be great. I'm saying Force Staff because he has the ring, so maybe that's his plan. Really good key item against Clockwork in general for the team to have. And I think they're making a mistake if they don't let Misery take farm now and get this Ags. They are going to need it. He shouldn't build for a Force Staff on the Lina, for example. The utility items will have to come from maybe the Phoenix even, as Bone7 is currently sitting on an Ogre Club. Do you think that's a Halberd or a PK?
Could be a good
gotta be
Halberd game, to be
I
honest.
think. It's got to be a Halberd.
Dire's middle
I mean, I
tower
guess
is
it could
under
be an
attack.
Ags, but then you'd see the point booster and, oh, Boba, another whiffed hook shot. Oh, actually, no, has found Big Dead. Never mind that. Finds him in the bottom side of the map, looking to go, and will take him down. Nicely
This is
played
probably
there
two
by Boba.
towers as well.
And
They just got
without the
mid-tier one.
Earthshaker, very difficult to defend. They're going to dive here. Black has the BKB. He even gets the first shot crit, but not going to commit anymore. Rocket coming in, almost brings down Misery. They try to turn this one around a bit with an Assassinate, forcing Pilot back a little bit. This Bulba's hookshot will have quite a while to cool down, so it looks like they won't quite get the towers in. As Eternal End, or actually Fada was off ratting a bit in the top lane.
He's bought Boots of Travel to keep this going. It's probably the best build up here.
They really love this item, whether it's Bone7 on the Bat Rider, sometimes even gets it before the Blink Dagger. Fada, we see it on the Zeus occasionally, but especially on
Mid
the
lane,
Beastmaster.
Bulba's in a lot of death.
Yeah, there's your TPN. He set it up with his own.
Oh, wait, he
Hawk.
has no boar.
Maybe not.
He has
though.
no boar.
Now the turnaround Requiem raised 1, 2. They got him. Nice turn there. As now the egg will come out. They need to focus this down quickly. They're looking to do it. Echo. They gotta finish off the damn egg. They won't even get it. End up losing 3. What a catastrophe for Team Tinker, as they will be forced back at the end. Good news is they don't lose any cores at least, but still a long duration BKB charge expended by Koikfa, as he will have to retreat, and with no BKB on him, perhaps it's time for Cloud9 to start applying a bit of pressure in the middle lane.
Yeah, this game is very even at this point in time, and it really comes down to, I think Black wasn't in position to take this fight. He still hasn't been using his BKB yet on the PA. And
He
they just
hasn't,
got caught
he
by
hasn't really
surprise
come
here.
to many fights. There was the one fight, I think it was a bottom rune, but other than that, he's just been farming.
But that's also perfectly fine, but they need to be on the same page with what they do. And I think, honestly, they just got caught completely by surprise with how many Cloud9 were there. And really, really important play from No-Tail here to get the Echo Slam and the Enchant Totem and the Fissure off.
He just went in, man.
He really saved the egg there. If he doesn't combo his spells exactly like he did, that's probably a lost fight for Cloud9.
Well, look at this. Black, yeah, hasn't come to many fights, but as you mentioned, it's okay to farm. This hero definitely uses it well. Now reveals himself a basher in the middle lane. it's getting to that point for PA where if he just goes in on one hero, unless they roar him and focus him with Alina Ags, whoever he jumps is pretty much dead to rights.
Ooh, this is a cool play out of Tinker. They know there's no Supernova available for a while and no Echo Slam, and they're going to just snipe
They're
Roche.
gonna try for it though. Bottle leaping in. Aegis already grabbed though. Nicely grabbed by Koikfa. Does have the BKB available. They throw everything at him. Assassinate even. Fada dropping low though, and now Black will engage. But in this pit, he's taking heavy damage. The Boars as well as the Necro Creeps really working on him. He will be sent back. Brought to safety in the meantime. Elsewhere, Bone 7 caught out. Hex and Pale. They get him. Nice takedown there as Koikfa looks to engage. Has no more Aegis at this point. Will end up falling twice in this fight. And well, it's a 3-for-1 with the Aegis also being dropped and multiple BKB charges again being used up by Tinker. The numbers say a slight win for Tinker, but I think all things considered, not too bad for Cloud9.
No, and I think Team Tinker looked like they weren't completely on the same page with what they wanted to do. So they sent out the Phantom Assassin, who was pretty low on health there, Black. Maybe it was the right play to not try to fight any more with him. But that means they end up jumping in with the Lion and the Shadow Fiend effectively into what I think was a 2-on-2, or maybe even a 2-on-3. I think it was a 2-on-3. They went on the Phoenix, but there was also a Shaker and a Sniper in the area, I believe. And they get a decent fight, like you said, but if they could have gone in all together on that dive, they could have taken Roche and maybe even like 3 or 4 kills at no cost. But good heads-up play for Cloud9, and they managed to kill the Shadow Fiend twice, which is
yeah, they get that Aegis, they kill him again, and man, he's dead for a while. This is definitely one of those, the bigger you are, your harder they fall moments. He'll spend a lot of time on the sidelines here. Needs to collect some new souls again. In the meanwhile, both teams are going to reset. With the Aegis not on the field, it's a little bit difficult for Tinker to make too many aggressive plays, at least as a squad. And at the same time for Cloud9, just bull rushing in is not easy against this Clockwork Lion. So if either team looks for any moves, they probably have to be sneaky ones. We'll see just a very defensive setup from both sides right now.
And come to think of it, the way this BKB on Phoenix works is very similar to how BKB on Brewmaster works. When you think about the way team fights happen, you pop the BKB, you jump in, and you want to get focused a little bit, because you know you just click your ultimate button, and then all of a sudden, all the damage you've taken is actually kind of irrelevant.
The only X factor could be that Basher, but it's generally not the Phoenix that you're looking to focus as Black. You really want that Sniper, maybe even the Shaker or Lina if you can.
And it's difficult for PA to get onto the Phoenix. If he's in BKB, can't Blink Strike, and then...
That's true, actually. That is one of the reasons why BKB is really good against PA. Sure, you could still get crits and bashes, but
you need to get there first, and you need to get through a Boar, a Shaker.
You need that attack speed, too, to be honest. You're up against a lot of attack speed.
Fata looked for Koikfa here. Quick reaction from Koikfa to blink away.
Yeah, both players just testing each other's reflexes. Yeah, I'm faster than you, it's okay. In the meanwhile... doesn't seem like they really want to commit to this one. Cloud9 more looking for that clean pickoff. They don't want to just be walking in 5-on-5 onto Tinker and trying to take a head-on clash. So Black now will go back for a Dominator, Cinder. We often see the Satanic come out. Maybe it completes the Abyssal first, but he is beefing up for a very heavy late game style PA. We're not seeing like the style that used to be popular to some extent was often the phase boots, the drums, just very early to mid game focus items. I know Loda loved Sanj and Yasha, especially with Wisp. But it seems like this is much more just
I'm hearing a Hex.
There's your Hex. Follow-up finger. They go into Fada. Big commitment for Bulba. The Roar even blown, though. It is a pretty low cooldown, but they won't find a whole lot here. Now the BKB Phoenix just auto-attacking Python. They even meant to cancel Bulba's TP again. Tinker getting punished on these TP outs. Another 2-for-1 in favor of Cloud9. It looked bad at first, but it is two fairly underfarmed heroes for that fairly loaded Beastmaster. So overall, not the worst trade in the world here for Tinker.
And this is one of the weaknesses of Clockwork when you get this far into the game, is that this hero doesn't scale well damage-wise. It's really good at controlling, it's really good at initiating and setting up the fights, but when it comes to making a quick snipe, you would think that most offlaners plus Lion would be able to kill a Beastmaster fairly quickly, but Lion even expending the Finger of Death there, they pretty much used their entire package, and it still took them so long to bring down Fata that they were able to TP and support, get a 2-for-1 trade-off, and pretty much nullifying the gank entirely.
It doesn't seem like Big Daddy really wants that Force Staff, by the way. If he wanted it, he could have it by now, but or nearly at least. He's had one component for a long time if he wanted to buy it, but
I think Blink is just flat out better.
It seems like the Blink will be the choice here. It means Eternal Envy is a little more danger, but as we've been mentioning, they have some solutions for the PA. The BKB on the Phoenix, the Fire Spirits to some extent, Headshot is always nice, the Roar, the Boar. none of these are like, oh my god, that is the spell that counters PA, but collectively, it makes life tough for Black.
This is
almost
the
no matter how
item,
many
though.
items he gets.
This item on Koikva is really, really good. He's going to go for a Lincoln Sphere on the Shadow Fiend, and it's because when it comes to using BKB, the only BKB piercing abilities on Cloud9 are Roar, and I think, does Assassinate proc
Yes.
Lincolns through BKB? It should, right?
Yeah,
I guess.
I believe you don't get the
And
damage, but you
Laguna.
get the mini stun from the ultimate.
So he either blocks, either Eternal Envy needs to have really good timing with the Assassinate, right? So he gets the Lincolns off. Else he will block Roar or the Aghanim's Lina ult. That's like huge value for this item. I think it's a really good choice out of Koikva. Could be
can
nice
can
for-
even throw it on the PA as well.
I was about to say, maybe Black should get one as well.
Yeah.
So they have two. But yeah, you're right. He can also give it to the PA.
If it goes late, that does seem like one of the stronger items even a support could pick
Yes,
up, though
yes.
their supports are pretty damn poor, to be honest. That's the one concern here.
Oh, we talked about it. That's how they play the game.
It's pretty unusual. We don't see many teams take this type of farm distribution, but
3 protect 2.
yeah, it's
Kinda.
it's an awkward number, but it does seem to be working fairly well for Tinker here, keeping it close so far against
Oh,
Cloud9.
they're going to lose their entire Chen army here in the jungle. It was out scouting.
It's a massacre.
Gets destroyed.
Got him. Well, Cloud9 trying to make some aggressive movements here. They will be scouted out by a wayward rocket. Let's see if they look to retreat.
This is
Eternal
actually
Envy's going to back off towards top.
This is a pretty big problem for Chen because he doesn't have access to his jungle right now. Cloud9 are playing aggressively in the Radiant jungle.
It's almost
and
that point of the game where it's like, do you even bother getting creeps? Like, they're just going to be food. You can split push with them. That's the
they
one
can
thing.
split push. They have auras. The auras are always useful. When you're playing 2 physical damage cores, like
You really want
attack
them.
speed creep aura, for example, is really, really useful. Armor aura from the Wild Wing would also be nice. If nothing else, like let's say they draw a bit of fire in the team fight, then they get attacked instead of something else. That's also pretty useful. So.
Where do you think the Beastmaster goes from here? He had his big core items out very... Oh, Fada. Big move onto Pylite Die. But Chen's in the neighborhood. As the setback, Mac, Hand of God, he'll get him out, even through the incoming fissure. Not enough burst damage. It's Fada who pays first and foremost. Now looking for more. The core's getting a great start to this fight. They trap in Big Daddy, and they bring him down.
He actually did
There's
go for the
swing
Force
of those
Staff. Did you
blades.
mention that?
Oh, he did go back for it in the
He
end.
went for it after
Okay,
all.
he had the gold for the Staff of Wizardry for like 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
but, I guess was really debating. He's like, you know what? I think I need one. Well, that's a nice swing there.
Very, very
for
good
Tinker.
defensive play by Tinker. The double heals from Chen, the sent back, perfect here.
That was one of those he's just in the right place at the right time to turn the fight moments.
And to answer your question about Fatsa's Beastmaster, I think he generally at this point goes for a Refresher Orb, so he has 2 roars. Already
Hello,
has them.
Bone 7. BKB tries for the TP out. Shadow Fiend late into. They hook him. They bring him down now. Focusing on Eternal Envy. Requiem going to absolutely destroy him. Death by Spirit Bomb. Something normally Eternal Envy's on the delivering end of, but not this time around. Now, Bone 7, next man on the list, will be wrangled down in the river. It's 4 heroes brought down around the map, along with a fresh, shiny Abyssal Blade, now picked up by your Phantom Assassin.
Yeah, this
As
has gotta
Tinker
be a
start
tier
to
2.
find their stride here in the mid game.
This has got to be a tier 2 mid, and if they have any wards on them, this is the time to play some aggressive ones. They don't have any wards available right now unless there's some in stock. There are some in stock in 25 seconds. Surprising for me that they don't try to push this mid tier 2. Like, if there's 2 core heroes down for
Dyer's
Cloud9,
middle
maybe they
tower
buy
is
back.
under attack.
Yeah,
It seems like they
perhaps is high
It
risk.
seems like both teams are starting to think about Roshan. The Hawk's flying over the pit. You've got a Chen creep down there, and I guess if you're Taker, you're just like, man, it'd be really nice if Chen respawns, or if Roshan respawns, just the minimum duration. But
Yeah.
not the case, as both teams will find out.
Lina with the eggs. It is now available. We'll probably like to Laguna Black in the fights, I can imagine. It's the best target.
Especially since I guess they have the sniper to counter the evasion. He is building MKB, but honestly, I feel like I haven't seen Eternal Envy auto attack very much this game.
No.
Once in a while, finds a pick off on a support in the top lane, especially early on. But as of late, he's just running for his life. That may change with this Lina Eggs, though. Suddenly, you throw out the ult, and the PA's at half health. Doesn't really want to be chasing anymore.
And the Force Staff of Shaker could prove to be a really big pickup now, where it's a way to get the sniper away from the PA's initial jump or get him out of the hook shot or out of the cogs. I think the way they should be playing this for Cloud9 is if Eternal Envy gets hooked, don't panic, Force Staff him out of the cogs. Wait for Black to jump in and try for the kill, and then you force him out. Or if he gets hook shot and Black isn't fast enough, you just BKB and kill the Clockwork, because then PA can't jump you, and Clock's actually just killed himself by jumping in. So it's a little bit of a tricky situation here for Team Tinker when it comes to really starting to break the base, since Cloud9's lineup is so good defensively. And talked about Fatsa going for the refresher. He's got the Oblivion staff, so and another 1,000 gold. This is probably only like 5 minutes away, and that's a really big deal.
Yeah, you're up against 2 very fat carries. Get double roar. That's how you deal with them. And with Sniper, if they just get locked down, he brings one down, he can deal with the other one, generally speaking. So
Yeah.
it could be a big pickup.
This is difficult, actually, for Tinker. I wouldn't blame them if they go back here. It's a very hard siege. They probably have an idea of where Cloud9 are, but the risk of this exact thing happening is actually pretty big. This is going to be a big deal.
Oh, here we go. Fissure to start it off. The egg coming on the side of the fight. Now the echo from Big Daddy. He doesn't get anything to follow up. Actually, the Fissure came out at the start of the fight. Now the hook from Boba. Looking to turn. They haven't brought down either carry just yet, but Black is being kited beautifully by Eternal Envy from the high ground. Black needs to get in close here. There's the jump. Abyssal. Crit. They try to bring him down. Healed up. Kept alive by Bone 7. Low. Not dead yet. Blink forward. Doesn't get him in the end. Eternal Envy wins the man fight, but now he's on the run. The Blade Mail. Oh, with the outplay. Toggles that Blade Mail mid-attack animation. Turns the fight. The last man standing is going to be Fada of the Beastmaster. Ends up being a 4-for-3. Very, very even fight. Both teams getting gigantic piles of experience out of that one in the end.
Woo. I think Eternal Envy only died from that attack because it had Mask of Madness on.
That was just such a sweet play by Bulba, though. Like, he waits until he sees the sniper rifle about to go off, pops the blade mail. It's like you turn on your reflector, and all of a sudden it just bounces right back the other way.
That actually went surprisingly good for Tinker, considering how Cloud9 got the jump there. Did the Supernova not go off? It did go off.
I think it did go up, but they had BKBs already active on their cores.
It's still a pretty nice the stun duration.
They got off an Echo Slam on most of the Chen creeps, like at least 2 heroes. The Fissure hit 2 or 3 to start the fight. I guess the main issue was that Sniper didn't have like that perfect position where he could just lay into the whole team. He got some good auto attacks off from the high ground, but he got somewhat isolated from the team after that, and then they just ran him down.
And Black avoided all of the onslaught in the beginning.
Yeah.
He didn't really get caught by anything on the PA. Neither did Shadow Fiend, it feels like. Or at least he got his BKB off at the right timing. And was like, who did Misery Laguna? Because it's actually difficult
I did not
in
actually
these
catch
fights.
that.
And if he did not Laguna PA, that could have probably made a really big difference in the fight.
You always try the combat log. Every time I open that damn fight, it just crashes. Ay, ay, ay. Well, for now, both teams are going to settle down, Sinders. I guess it was a massive 10-man clash near the Roche pit, but nobody takes the big boy just yet. It'll definitely be what both teams are looking for, though, especially if you're Tinker. It feels like they're going to need that Aegis if they want to try to push the base.
Yeah, and they're going to need it on the PA, I think. Who is building for a Satanic now, Black. Not surprising that he goes for this. With the Ring of Aquila probably being the replacement, being replaced into an Aegis, I would assume, and then you play the Shadow Fiend. He probably doesn't really need the Aegis since he has both Lincolns and BKB and Yule.
I mean, what's
how many
is
defensive
the
items?
next item even a refresher for Black at this point, after buyback, obviously? Like, I don't, Butterfly isn't going to be useful this game for PA. What else do you get? MKB, you
I
don't
think
really
Refresher
need.
is really, really good.
I feel like Refresher is the item on PA after you get those core items. That's true. Lincoln's maybe, then maybe Refresher. We'll see.
Yeah, then he would have to replace his Battle Fury, for example. But yeah, I guess you could do that.
Or Bootsless PA. That's the sniper. Shaker seems like a
not
terrible
recommended.
Comes with this warning label of you will almost certainly lose if you go this build.
And what other item progress do we have? So Pilot Eye has got an Ogre Club, probably building into BKB. I think it's a really good choice on the line. This game just needs to be able to cast his spells. If he dies after getting all his spells off, fair enough. He just needs to ensure that he does do that. Clockwork very close to the Ags as well, about 500 short. And Chen, so poor this game. It's interesting how the gold is so even, and you just see 2 supports on one side being so starved for farm here.
Well, there's a Fissure coming out mid lane from Big Daddy, as well as that Assassinate, but he blinks to disjoin it. Nicely done by Pi. I swear, Pilot Eye has gotten the most hate out of any player this game. I feel like every time I see him, he's jumping away from Assassinates, they're fissuring him, they've got other nukes coming out. He's on the run, but he still had some decent initiations with the Hex. Yep. That's the power of Lion, just one of the best instant initiators in the game.
No,
compare that to like the Lina combo. You go for the Yule stun, they just BKB and jump right away.
Yeah, that's the really big difference. Black will be finishing the Satanic, has no buyback now. This is a pretty big fight for Tinker. If this goes wrong, they're easily going to lose Roshan at least. And
it is a big item for PA, but it could be a risky one. They have a lot of stuns versus Black. Once this BKB wears off, it's going to be tough.
If they do catch him out of position, he gets blown up by Laguna Blade.
Well, guess who's getting blown up right now? That's the big boy.
Oh god, they're so fast at this too. Fissure gonna buy a little bit of time. He's already dead, actually.
They had just too many heroes there. I think they were able to cancel the potential Blink steal from Cloud9.
Actually dropping his Yules for a cheese.
instead of giving the cheese to someone else. This might be the siege plan right now.
Yeah, the Yules is a pretty big item, though, versus Cloud9. Like you mentioned, just being able to confuse the Beastmaster when he jumps in,
Dire's
potentially.
middle tower is under
The Yules
attack.
dodge of Assassinate could be really nice. But may just look to pass it back to him
Dire's middle
after
tower
the
has
cheese is
fallen.
popped.
Here is the refresher for Fata. So let's do a little bit of a mana check. 2 roars cost 400, 375 from the orb, so that's 775. He has 1100 mana, so he can also use the book easily, and even axes and hawks and boars.
Yeah,
High enough level to have the stats he needs.
we used to see players really go for the Ags a lot more, but it just feels like you need to convincingly win one fight, not just find a lot of small pickoffs around the map. So
Yeah.
with this, you've got the 2 roars for 1 engagement. Roar, hopefully kill the PA, then do the same to the Shadow Fiend or vice versa. They're putting a lot of emphasis on just winning that one clash convincingly right now for Cloud9.
Pi is super dead.
Oh, this poor guy, man. You got a feel for Pi. He's getting hated on this game. BOT in, quick roar, and down you go.
Also not sure if this is the right play to have the Lion push this lane out right now. I mean, he's just looking for farm and trying to get the BKB in level 16, which I think is great, but yeah, the risk of this Boots of Travel Beastmaster makes it very difficult for him to go around the map solo, and Fata just picks up on the fact that this is an easy kill. Grabs it, and it opens up the map. When any hero is dead, hook shot.
Nice hook there. He's going to find Misery. Now the Blade Mail coming out, as he will eventually bring Misery down. Had the Ghost Scepter going. Doesn't really get him out of trouble, unfortunately, as another rocket comes out. This time towards the bottom side of the map. And this puts the Fear of God in Bone 7. Immediate TP out. Bulba's starting to heat up, though, Sin, and he's now got an egg, so he can go for these pickoffs constantly around the map.
Yeah, also the tankiness from it is important. If he hook shots in and uses Blade Mail early, he either forces out BKB from the sniper unless he wants to take a lot of damage for killing him, or a hero like Lina could end up killing herself if she uses her spells in the Clockwork. So
Yeah, nice Laguna.
yeah.
See ya. For now, things are going to settle down a little bit. Quakefu will be the first man to pop his head out. He's going to start farming the bottom lane. He'll begin to lead a push here towards the tier 2. In the meantime, Cloud9 not really showing themselves much on the map. Playing very
Radiant's
defensively.
top
Now
tower
Fata
is
making
under
his way
attack.
in. He is hunting around in the tree line. Not going to find anyone just yet. And now a quick blink out. He'll retreat.
And they're going to go for a defensive position on bottom. They will see Pi up top, which gives them some pretty relevant information here. They're
Dire's
not sure
bottom
about
tower
Clockwork's
is under
whereabouts.
attack.
Just saw a rocket, but that could have flown from far into the Radiant jungle as well. So they are playing it safe still in the bottom lane. I think the ideal situation for Cloud9 is that Fata engages top, forces a reaction, and then they go bottom at the same time. And then because of that, Team Tinker seems too strong in a direct 5-on-5 engagement if they get the jump with the Clockwork and they get their BKBs off. But once Cloud9 starts splitting them up, they could take advantage of the Beastmaster a lot more.
Well, it is Black who's just laying into this tower.
Dire's
Nice and thick in the
structures
bottom
are
lane.
fortified.
Nobody wanting to defend this. Cloud9 like,
Dire's
we
bottom
don't really
tower
want to
is
fight
under
her
attack.
right now. You can just have that
Dire's
tower. Yeah,
bottom
take my
tower
car.
is
You can have the
fallen.
wallet too, but just leave me alone, please. I don't know if Black's going to be satisfied with just that small reward, though. It seems like they're getting to the point now where they may just look for the high ground breach. Sells the Akil in the end. Is going to hang on to the treads here. And at this point, I mean, Sin, both of their cores are basically 6-slotted. They're very close anyway. After they get that next big item on each hero and they're fully 6-slotted, is there anything else for Tinker to wait for? Do you see these guys falling off the longer the game goes?
So that's the problem, right? What else is there? The Chen and the Lion, generally when you're controlling the map in your head like this, you want to farm your support so that they have an easier time assisting your cores. The Chen, for example, could be getting himself an axe so they get the Granite Golem for sieging high ground, but the farm just isn't there. So you're right, Team Tinker are starting to look really scary on these cores, but, well, what comes after? Get your support some items.
Yeah, like late game, looking at this, like Lina, Earthshaker, Phoenix, these heroes are just going to bring more to a fight than a Chen Lion to some extent, though, even
Yeah.
if you are trading farm.
And they need to use this Aegis. I think Cloud9 are doing the right thing. They're waiting.
It's too late, though. I think the Aegis is about to expire here.
They just want to wait, yeah. The Aegis
20
is gone.
seconds or so.
Tinker didn't try to push with this one, and now they're gonna 6-slot Black now. So who gets the Aegis is the question.
Clockwork is pretty good, I think. Hookshot's got a low cooldown. He's the first man in normally. Shadow Fiend probably won't have the inventory for it. I feel like Clock's almost the ideal candidate for that Aegis.
And there's one thing that's pretty deceiving.
Oh, Bulba. He goes in to try and hook a fleeing no-tail, but the Hawk of Fada just one step ahead of him, blocks the hook. It was going to be a bit too late anyway.
There's one thing that's a bit deceptive here, and that's if you look at the net worth of the Shadow Fiend, he looks like he's extremely rich, but 7,000 of that gold is unused. So if you want to siege high ground with this, you could probably get a little bit more value than a cheese on this slot, and maybe you
Even
even
the
sell
blink,
your blink.
yeah.
And you just really tank up these cores. Maybe you get something like a Scotty, so you're hard to kill off, and
Maybe even his own Satanic, potentially.
Satanic could be a choice.
Butterfly seems pretty bad this game up against the Sniper. So.
Yeah, it's a pretty weak choice in this game, I would agree. But it's
I guess the
difficult.
other big thing is they could go for the refresher on the PA as a 7th item. That's like the one extra thing I could see them doing here, but
I think he needs to have it in his inventory.
yeah. You can like juggle it on the courier, like go in, get a kill with your first BKB Abyssal, back off, use the refresher, take your other item back.
If you have the luxury of doing that against
You
Cloud9,
you might have already won anyway at that point if you have that kind of time, but other than that, I mean, there's really not a whole lot to farm here for. Lion BKB, I guess.
Yeah, and we're closing in on a Blink Dagger for Shaker now as well, which is a really big item for Cloud9 to grab as well. I would be shocked if he doesn't get this now.
You know, it doesn't seem like a huge decision going the Blink versus Force, but you just see how little farm the Shaker gets, and that was a big choice that Big Daddy had to make. Do I get the Blink? Do I get the Force? I'm probably not getting the other one for a long time. Now he's close, but he still doesn't have it.
Homing in.
Things are settling down, though, Sind. It's our opening game here of day one, and we may have 4 best-of-3s depending on how the matches go and how long they take, and if IG's ready to play. But yeah, even if it's just 3 best-of-3s, could be a long day ahead of us at the rate this game's going.
Pilot changed his mind here. He bought an Ultimate Orb. I thought he was going to finish the BKB. He
Are
actually
they
had
getting
gold
multiple
for it.
Lincolns, you think?
Yeah, that could be the choice. I think he has to turn this into Lincolns. I don't think Sheepstick is the right choice.
It's just like you go for a Sheepstick, you're probably getting stunned by someone and not
Yeah.
getting a good double Hex off anyway.
The Lincolns is really nice, and it might be the plan of how they want to assault high ground is that they put, for example, they put a Lincolns on Koikva so he has 2, and then he goes and starts hitting.
You know, one of the storylines that we really stressed coming into this first day is, can Cloud9 close out games? They often get a lead, but sometimes struggle to just finish the game. Well, right now, I wouldn't say Take are struggling, but they're not finding it easy to crack this Cloud9 base by any means.
It is an extremely hard lineup to push against.
It is. The Sniper,
I don't
Shaker.
blame them. I still think they should have tried to at least use the Aegis.
Even if it's just to
But-
like chip away at the tower,
Yes,
maybe force
exactly.
Cloud9 to die and buy back on one support.
Because how do they actually kill Black without committing Roar? It's very... If they, like, let's say...
And they can also
Shadow
throw the
Fiend
Lincolns on him.
You Lincoln's Black, and he goes and hits the tower. How are Cloud9 going to defend? They have a couple of AoE stuns, and maybe, yes, they kill him off, but there's no way in hell they kill him twice without a response from Tinker, I would say. And then they could just reset, and then they've used their Aegis, and okay, maybe they got something
Seen
out of
this
it.
movie before. Pilot died.
mistimed
the
it.
stun this time. He will
Oh!
end up getting healed by the Chen, brought back to healthy HP. Now gets up the finger. I think he still goes down here though. Stunned and focused. Will end up falling. Now the Supernova clearing out some creeps. Refresher coming out. No, doesn't end up getting off the... Actually did get off the second roar, but doesn't amount to too much. As they're forced back, Cloud9 now. They've deployed the double roar Sind, and a hook comes in from Boba, straight onto Bone 7, leaves him in the cogs. Black is hunting for this dagger. Could go for the deep link in. Still has a BKB Abyssal. There's going to be more hook shots to come. This could be the opening for Tinker to try and crack this base. They got to know there's no roars available. I don't even know if you want the Aegis. If you could just go high ground right now.
There's no Roar. They don't know if Shaker has buyback, though, which is a big,
That is true.
gamble to take. If
He
they
did
didn't
not
see his blink,
Did not
they
use
might
Echo
not
in that
see it.
last fight.
They might not have seen him picking up the blink, and while they know Supernova's down as well, they're going to take it slow here. This is actually their Roche if they go right now. I don't see Cloud9 contesting this in any way. But
If they do, it's got to be a ridiculously good steal. But just walking in 5v5 seems rather
Tinker
challenging.
don't seem that interested. Okay, now they do.
I feel they're a little indecisive here about what they want to do. They were running towards mid, then they back off just to farm, then they're
Koikva, use
dancing around a little bit.
He's got
Doing his
8,000
best,
again.
doing his best Mushi impression.
8,000 gold on a Reaver, and he's sitting around with this Blink Dagger. That he needs to buy something right now. Right, there it comes. So that's the Satanic. He still has 5k on top of this. I don't know if it's worth keeping the Blink anymore, to be honest. I feel like there are better choices now. Like an MKB,
I
so you
mean,
hit a lot
I guess it's
harder, or-
Bulba who's going to take this stuff. Yeah, he's going to grab. Oh no, it just goes to black.
Instead of...
Yeah, he has not bought his next item yet,
yeah,
but he's also getting rich here.
Yeah, he
man.
has 7.5 too.
These guys are balling out of control. Like a quarter of their inventory, or their total net worth, is concentrated in just gold in the piggy bank right
That
now.
doesn't really help when you siege high ground, though.
Yeah, you can buy back. That's the main thing.
Yeah, but they could buy an item and a buy back.
And then buy back, yeah. So. Inventory slots could become an issue here for Black. Does not seem to want the refresher just yet. They're going to move down the middle lane. Highlight Die and Black teaming up here to slaughter some creeps. They'll do so easily. Continuing to finagle their way in. Cloud9, they're just hanging back right now. This is not the time that they really want to be looking for a big aggressive fight.
Oh, this ward could give some value right now. And, oh, Pilot Eye very quick.
Finally. First time this poor guy actually manages to dodge a bullet here.
Rock it on.
And they're controlling the Dire jungle well. Like, Team Tinker have got a good grip on the map. Still waiting for them to itemize a bit more. All this gold, like, if you don't... I'm not sure why you want to keep, for example, the treads on the PA instead of boots of travel. Sure, they're better for fighting. Maybe they feel like they'll never need the boots of travel to split push, but... Yeah, I guess with... Okay, there we go.
They've
it.
accomplished the... You're always half second late. But you got the right idea. At this point, they've got everything they could hope for and more. Tinker have all items they would ever really want on their cores. They've got their basic items on their support, sure, a bit poor. Bulba's actually done fairly well for himself, moving into the mid-game. Getting the Ags is a big pickup for him, and at this point, Clockwork's ready to go. There's no big item that really is a game changer. Maybe another Linkens could be nice, but this is it, Sid. This feels like the time where Tinker should be able to get something big, something significant. For now, they're going to focus on just pushing in the top lane. Not really sure which lane they want to go on. They're going to leave Quake in front. They even send him back to the base. He can BOT in. I only got like 3 auto attacks off. They're just terrified about it.
Are they gonna envy Cloud9 with like sendbacks and attacks every 45 seconds?
Well, it works for the tower at least. It's slow, it's steady, but they are showing a lot of respect towards Cloud9's high ground defense. It's time to keep an eye on buybacks here. Fissure connects on 2. They just want to stall. Cloud9, wait as long as possible, clear out the waves.
And it's
At this point, it doesn't feel like Tinker are going to have much of a wave unless they actually mech and try to commit to a push.
Yeah, there's a good 2.5 minutes still on the Aegis, so see if they get to use it this time around.
Very patient here, just waiting for the creep waves to march in. They will do so now, and with the creep wave comes Koikfa. Linkens comes out, Echo, they commit heavily onto Koikfa, has the Satanic though, Hand of God, they do focus him down just barely, and the backlines is Pi though. Went in pretty deep for this, but they've lost the Shadow Feet, insta buyback. He will, no, actually not gonna.
He canceled his port.
Uh-oh, well, I guess they decide not to go with that. They're gonna back off, but 2 deaths, suddenly 6,500 cold swing favoring Cloud9.
The question is, why is it the Shadow Fiend hitting the tower when it's the PA that has the Aegis? It seems like a very strange choice to me here to gamble Koikva's life essentially here by putting him in the front lines. If they want to do that, they need to have a secondary Linkens they place on him first. Instead, they could have Linkens Black, and he could have probably got the same job done. And
when they go on Black, even if they kill him, he's got Aegis, and they also may not kill him.
And they have to commit spells for that kill. Like, it's after all, it is a 2600 health, 23 armor PA with a Satanic. I don't think Envy's going to kill him alone. They're going to need to like set up with Fissure. Maybe they're going to need to chain stun with a Light Strike Array. Maybe they even expend a Roar, and then you go. And then you've baited out spells. You get the initiation. But like this is not going to happen, I think.
Well, and now Tinker they can only feel more hesitant about making their way in. The way that fight went. Not sure if they'll even attempt to push here until the cooldown on the buyback comes out. Koikfa's still not able to get any gold, and he's already been up for quite some time now. Doesn't need the experience. Killing these creeps is actually just pointless right now. Already level 25 there on the big Shadow Fiend.
Oh, he wanted the souls, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Let's give him the souls.
Let's pull on that. And Black is going to go farm bottom. So it's going to be decision-making time for him soon. The Aegis will expire in 30 seconds, and then he's got 8k gold in the bank. I think if you could transfer gold between heroes, Tinker would have won this game by now. You just keep farming this.
Well, you used to be able
and
to.
Shadow
Just
Fiend
buy your teammate a rapier.
Just send the gold. Send some, like the Support Lion charity fund here. Get Pilot Eye and
ally up and then do a bit of trading.
Minute 55, Blink, Ogre Club,
rush those carriers,
Ulti Orb.
He is so poor.
I mean, the thing is that
he could have an item at this point. He could have a BKB.
Yes, he could have easily had another item if they chose to prioritize this way.
He would be pretty close to a Linkens. It's going to be the sixth
he's exposed
item.
Again. Here.
Oh,
the Axis.
Oh, they're going to go on it. Highlight Die gets caught out. Laguna will instantly end him. Cindy's got no buyback. Hook comes in from Bulba. Now wanting to back up, he baits out the Supernova. Nicely done by Bulba. That really bails them out.
Cloud9 got super scared there. That's a very defensive Supernova from Bone 7. He still had his BKB ready. Only used the Shivas on the engage and, of course, Icarus dive, but
And not to mention they do have the Force Staff to work with potentially as well.
it's like a semi-big deal. It's a deal.
No. In general, both teams, I don't know if you would call it nerves, but just very hesitant play on both sides. Nobody really wants to take an aggressive fight. Cloud9 only really forcing the issue when they were presented with a golden opportunity in the top lane. Other than that, they've been down, so they're playing defensively. And Tinker now, with that Shadow Fiend buyback having been used earlier, they do not want to take any gambles with his life. But now Cloud9 find an opening. They're going to make the move on Bulba. They focus him down before he's able to pop the Blade Mail. An easy kill for him, and now the chase forward. Onto the Chen creeps. Necro on Wolf action here. Bottom lane. Storm Ladder Season 12 getting spicy in our first match.
And there goes the Chen army. No, he saves 2.
Again.
That's actually pretty relevant that he keeps these creeps. That's the attack speed and armor that managed to survive.
It gets to this point in the game, and those creeps are just
Radiant's
so
top tower
squishy. Like,
is under attack.
unless you manage to get your Ags and pick up
Invisibility.
the bonus HPR, they feel so easily dealt with at this stage of the game.
I don't know. I keep harping on the same things, but it's a mystery to me why they don't farm the Chen and the Lion a bit more. Like, he's close to level 16 on Chen. He could farm level 16 and get an Ags, get a Granite Golem. That 15% makes a really big difference when it comes to sieging high ground. Like, if you're playing a Chen together with double cores and you want to end the game at some point, like, you look at other teams that utilize Chen well. I guess the standout team at this point in time, Secret and EG, they always get the Ags on their Chens. On Puppey and on Awa 2000, in an hour game, you at least have an Ags on top of these items on Chen. Maybe even a Vlad's on top of that, or you get a Hex. Like, anything that can give you an edge in the fights, but they're just... It seems like their supports are content with just giving away farm to heroes that don't really need it anymore.
Oh, Fissure from Big Daddy.
Radiant's middle
Fishing
tower
onto
has
Black,
fallen.
not actually going to make a move. Bulba will pick up his own BOTs and TPs into the mid lane. I guess the one thing, the Chen could split push with the creeps, but at the same time, any Cloud9 hero that finds them can just kill them. And Lion, we've seen when he tries to farm, he just gets punished. Like, there isn't a ton of just easy farm
I
available
think
for
their
the
jungle,
support.
they've had a decent grip on their jungle for the last 15 minutes.
Now maybe not so much, but up
Yeah.
until Cloud9 got some momentum, they had some space there, that is true.
They could have, like, if they really wanted to, they could have used their last Aegis to farm their own jungle. Just protect it with the PA or the SF, whoever has the Aegis, and just control, manage to stay ahead. Cloud9 are not interested in playing aggressively in the Radiant jungle against an Aegis. That's a very risky play, Aegis and Cheese, by the way. So they could have used that to farm up the Ags on Chen if they really wanted.
Yeah,
but
they've been through
not
3
really.
Aegises, 2 cheeses at this point, I think.
And they haven't got a tier
Cloud9
3.
got the first Aegis,
They haven't got a
that's
tier
it.
3 yet. It's actually... It's currently Cloud9 who are pushing more in this bottom lane. This creep wave is actually forcing a TP reaction.
You know, they do have the Sniper, and it's just so much easier to push with this hero. Sniper with all the Rs, he's sitting protected comfortably by an Earthshaker. Even the Lina is scary to walk into with the Laguna. Of course, the Egg to turn things around.
Oh, this is actually a play. Black does not have a TP. His Boots of Travel are...
He is running, though.
He never sent them out. They have been lying in base since he bought them.
Oh, I
They're-
think he's waiting for if he dies, then he buys back and puts the BOTs on his hero, TPs in. But it can cost you in situations like that, potentially. So it's a somewhat risky maneuver by him.
Then it's a question of what do you think is most important? Is it the 50 move speed or the 30 attack speed and the 8 stats from the treads? Like, I think the 50 move speed at this point is probably generally a better choice.
Yeah, I honestly feel like it's just, it's not a big enough difference to not want to have the BOTs, but
I mean, at this point, with all the gold he's farmed, he's probably forgotten what items he bought. It's like,
you almost get
oh wait,
overwhelmed by...
I bought that already? Oh, I usually need to farm that item up now. Oh, I'm so rich. Forgot his Boots of Travel in base.
You know, you win the lottery, you've bought like a nice car for all your family members, get your mom a new house or apartment or something. You know, maybe I'll start buying stuff for my cousins now too.
Start buying something for your Chen. Not your mother.
But think of the way too sexy man. Not doing
boy.
so just yet. I mean, we talked about this, you know, around like that 40 to 42 minute mark, they were basically 6 slotted on both cores, and they just had no more room to grow, really. They could maybe get a refresher, extra Linkens or 2, but they're basically done, and we just haven't seen the progress. Big Daddy, what an echo! Jumps in on 3 to start the fight. Now the Laguna coming out onto Black, the Supernova also deployed along with the Requiem, as Big Daddy gets a follow-up fissure. Excellent initiation by him. Though they don't get too much accomplished out of this, they lose the Shaker. And that's going to be it. Tinker with a lot of heals. Fada leaping forward once. Pylai die. If they could just get the Sniper in nice and close, he could get a lot more heavy lifting done. Now the BKB from Fada. Koikfa trying to force him out. These 2 old teammates. It will be Koikfa who emerges victorious. As an exchange, though, they do lose that Lion. Pylai die. Oh, sorry, way too sexy rather. Gonna go down and now the turn. Boba looking for a hook shot attempt here. Looks like it hit some creeps. Chase goes on to Eternal Envy. Yules doesn't have it anymore actually. Tries for the TP out. Do they have another hook? Cogs? Oh,
what a
too
play.
late. They don't get him, but they do get the Phoenix elsewhere. So
That
that's
was a
a big
really nice
fight for
TP.
Team Tinker.
For
Hook
getting
shot
out
was
there.
cooling down in 1 second, and the cogs appeared like as the TP completed. That was as down to the wire as you can get. So, Sin, it's going to be cheese number 3, Aegis number 4 for Team Tinker. Is this the one?
I want to finish off that fight, actually. The reason that Cloud9 didn't just run them over, I'm pretty sure Pylite blink Hex Shaker after the Echo, because that was such a good opening. He found 3 heroes in the Echo Slam, he was about to fissure, and I think he got hexed. And if Pylite doesn't make that clutch play there, they might lose the entire game. Like, they would have at least lost 3 heroes and a Roshan, and maybe the grip on their jungle.
The other thing was the rest of Cloud9 were a bit far away. It was a great jump by Big Daddy, but the team was not right next to him by any stretch.
And they also kind of wasted the Laguna. You don't want a Laguna PA very early in the fight because the Satanic is there. So when you throw away your Laguna like that and you don't get the kill, Black actually doesn't really care. It needs to be the finishing move. So they Echo Slam Black, they keep him stun locked with the Shaker, they roar him, and then when he's low, the Laguna deals the finishing blow. But they end up kind of wasting it here, and as a result, when the fight progresses there, big play from Pylite to save the fight.
Well, want to keep an eye on buybacks here. Currently, most heroes are not dealing with buyback cooldowns at any rate. The Shadow Fiend buyback from earlier, I mean, I don't know, Sin, at this point, the 10k gold, there's just nowhere to go for Koikfa. He's got all this money and can't even spend it.
Is that Blink still worth it?
I don't know.
He wants
doesn't
to-
have the Yules anymore, is the big thing. It's like the Blink Yules can be really nice to catch someone and set up for your team, but I don't know how much the Blink on its own really does. Oh, this is feisty. Let's see.
Homing in.
Blink forward. They are going to find initiation here. It's Misery who's trapped out. It was a triple Boots of Travel rotation from the cores. Nicely played by Team Tinker. Looking to bring him down. No, he blinks away. Misery, is he really going to live after all that? Now the dagger. There's your finger. Pylite gets it done. Man, though, he made him work for it, Sid.
His Lina is actually getting really farmed.
Those were some
Travel.
special tactics off of the tree line. Triple TP. You don't see that every day.
Next level stuff here from Team Tinker.
I think Chen had actually stolen the Hawk even?
He might have, yeah.
Or maybe it was this Wildkin. I'm
It
not
could have
sure.
been
I
the
thought I
Wildkin.
saw a Hawk there. Maybe it was a Cloud9 Hawk. Anyway.
Also want to point out in this game, correct me if I'm wrong, neither team ever bought a gem, right?
No.
That's really rare in an hour-long game. You usually want to try to take map
Normally you'd
control
see,
at
like,
some
at
point.
2
Oh,
gems.
actually they have one. They have one at Chen, but they haven't sent it out
just
yet.
bought it, looks like. Well, Sin, it's going to be push number 2. The Aegis is not on Koikfa. Once again, it is going to be Black. Actually, no, it doesn't have it right now. It's Boba who has it, so... Okay, they have it. They have an Aegis, but it's not really a hero that can hit the buildings too well. Maybe what they look for this time is instead of just trying to siege, they try to jump in and get a kill to start the push.
I think all of the Dire have buybacks.
As they so often do at this stage of the game. 64 minutes in. Only game 1 of a best-of-3 set. It's getting long already. There's the big jump from Boba. He even pushes Eternal Envy back, forcing out the BKB. Nice way to start the fight. At the same time, though, Black gets roared. Being focused. Koikfa keeping them off of his carry. And now Big Daddy. Oh, low. He will end up falling. Fada with a secondary roar. But another hook to follow this up as well. It's Boba as well as Fada just doing heavy lifting for their team. Black will be focused, though. He is going to end up going down. They lose just the PA so far. The Clockwork will be next.
What a Laguna.
Well, I guess they got him. They got to get him a second time, though. Can he hook his way out to freedom here? He gets clubbed by Big Daddy. Another hook. Not going to do all that much. Will end up falling a second time. Aegis down. PA dead. They didn't even get the tier 3. This Cloud9 base just can't be broken, it seems. And this is with 2 cores that are closing in on 40k net worth apiece.
And it was also without Lina being alive in the start of the fight.
Oh, hero, Hasterun. What a fortunate time for that to come out. There's the mech. But a Blake forward from Misery. Quick hex by Pi. Gets the 2 heroes done, but Big Daddy's there. Just a few too many heroes. No amount of Houdini action will get him out this time.
It's starting to feel like Tinker actually missed the timing window with the Aegis where they could have done it, because now they're putting the Aegis on another hero, and this Aegis on Clockwork's actually completely irrelevant. I think Cloud9 doesn't even care about it.
The only reason we see the Aegis on the Clockwork there is because the other heroes just are full. They have no more room unless they want to lose out on a big damage item.
Or Boots of Travel or something. Like, you drop them for the Aegis and you try to siege a
true.
bit with that, but
Dire's middle
It works. So
tower
it feels like it works better on heroes that have like a ton of like move speed type abilities, which PA does have the Blink Strike, but
Ooh,
dealing with
this
BKBs.
is actually a really good item on Fata. He has 2 halberds because of Refresher now. And that means when the PAs, if they can force out PA's BKB, sure, there's a Refresher BKB though, so Black has quite a bit of time in the BKB, but when that expires, this Beastmaster is actually going to render him useless in the fight.
Tinker. Now the team on the back foot here as Cloud9 make their move into the bottom lane, bringing in the heavy artillery. It's Eternal Envy, an army of snipers as well as the Necro Creeps too, working with the board. They're going to get their first lane of racks here. Bulba in through the rear, joined by Black, finally looks to get a quick jump here. Focusing Big Daddy will bring him down. There's the roar. But now Eternal Envy being forced back. Black has a Refresher to work with here. They should be able to finish off Fata. He's going to run towards the left, back on Blink.
No.
Don't tell me. No way. He gets out. Back to the base for Fata. He jumps out. He draws them all away from his team. Security Sniper's retreat. Ends up living. They even get, at long last, our first racks of the game. Tinker,
And
the team that's had an edge all game long.
Does it matter?
I mean, it's just one melee Rex. That is true.
It actually means nothing. But I mean, over the course of time, if they...
It's more like psychologically infuriating if you're Tinker, that you've had this
Yeah.
awesome lead all game and Cloud9 are the first team to get some Rex.
Okay, actually, let's not underplay it, because at this point, the way this game is going, having the passive creep push benefiting you will actually force more rotations, right?
Well, the other thing is that it gives more space for the Hawk to get in for
Yeah.
some BOT plays for Team Cloud9.
There's still...
It's still...
It's hard to believe. We're 70 minutes in. There's still a tier 2 tower standing in this game.
It's just
The top tier
something
2.
about Cloud9. Even though I don't really think they're the reason why this game has gone late necessarily, but they just seem they have a magnetic attraction for long games, Sid.
Yeah. It's... Another thing is, with this racks down, it of course opens up for a faster push at some point. If they're looking for mega creeps with one swift play, then having this tier 3 tower down in the bottom lane, for example, of course does make a difference. But compared to the relevance you usually see of taking barracks, this is much less relevant than the norm.
Oh, we are going to see a double Lincolns now. So maybe this is their last big trump card to play, is just stacking up the Lincolns. Try to block all the roars, potentially a Lina Ags ultimate. They do have 2 Lincolns now. Maybe we see a third come out. I mean, they've certainly got the money for it. Black's got 6.5k. Quakefa, I mean, he's already got his Lincolns. He's got 11k in the bank.
The thing is, Fata can actually, if they have these Lincolns running, this Halberd can
That's
remove...
true.
The Halberd can remove a Lincolns. They have a Hex on
Unless
the
they use
Phoenix.
their BKBs first.
Yeah, and then they'll rather try to kite anyway, I think. So there's a Hex that can remove a Lincolns if they really want it. Halberd is a really good Lincolns removal item. What else do they actually
I mean,
have?
speaking
That's
of
pretty
heroes,
much it.
speaking of heroes that have farm, by the way, we have not talked too much as of late about some of these Cloud9
Oh, they could force staff too.
supports, but Misery sitting on 5.6k could buy an Ethereal Blade here. Big Daddy building towards whatever he wants at this point. Has
Okay,
a little bit of gold banked up.
I want to point out, the Lina has the combined net worth of Lion and Chen. And Tinker have
And
been
there's no
controlling the
Midas
map.
here for Misery.
Like,
This is one of the big strengths of Lina as a supporter. She farms very well.
yes.
Has good wave clear from the nukes. Oh, big dive on the Quake, but they want to force out some BKBs now. Roar, no, not going to be used just yet. They're going to focus the egg. They need a little more help. Actually, blinking away is the Lion. They don't get the egg in the end at all, and Quake's BKB is going to wear off at the wrong time. He gets stunned by the egg. Focused by an additional Laguna Blade isn't enough to focus him down, though. Pops the Satanic, goes to work, turns the fight. Now Big Daddy, only onto Black. He goes, has the Satanic if he can get it off. No, ends up dying too quickly. And now the chase on to Quakefa. Another stun, another kill. The nuke's coming out from Misery. They're just running over Tinker here. And dead for 120 seconds is the Shadow Feed.
They have to use all their buybacks,
I think he hasn't even died since he bought back much earlier. which
Pilot
is-
Eye gonna go in?
Gets the stun off from Fata to start the hook as well into Big Daddy No Tail, but BKB from Fata. He's able to retreat out. Blinks into the trees again and again. He keeps on escaping. He's going to TP his way out. Can they at least get the sniper? That would be the big kill. Another hook. Where's those cogs? They don't have them yet. The Hex, though, they get the job done. And Eternal Envy is on the sidelines, but man, Cloud9 just forcing out so much in the way of buybacks from Tinker. Buyback on Shadow Fiend, PA, as well as the Chen in the last fight.
If they don't go and force a buyback on this sniper, the next team fight is probably going to decide the game, because Cloud9 with buybacks on all heroes, probably in that fight, if they let Bone 7 farm up a little bit more. Let me see the other heroes. Lina has enough gold to buy back 4 times.
Jesus.
Beastmaster has 2 buybacks.
This is I feel like the tagline of this game is just spend your gold. All these heroes running around with 7k, 10k, 8k. Jesus.
I think E-Blade is the right choice for Misery, even though it doesn't amplify his ultimate anymore now that he has an Axe upgrade, so it's pure. It's still really nice to cast on an ally to keep them safe from the PA. Also preventing the PA from using the Satanic. Like, if you jump in with Satanic and you instantly E-Blade, that's actually a huge play. And might be really relevant for keeping Sniper safe in the next fight, as we're gonna get... Alright, here we go. Aegis and Cheese Lottery. Who wins, David? Who gets it?
I don't know. I don't feel like it matters to some extent. Like, give this to anyone. The problem is, like, they just don't have the inventory slots. They're going to again give it to Bulba, as he will pick up the Aegis here. But they don't force out the sniper buybacks, and I think Cloud9 are fine with this. Now they just wait out this Aegis, and if Tinker don't make a convincing play during this Aegis' duration, well, I guess the buybacks are almost up, or they'll be up around that time, but I mean, I feel like you can still win a head-on fight if you're Cloud9.
If they would have given all their cheeses to Chen and he had sold them, he could have an axe.
Now he could have an item. He's been sitting on Mech 4 staff with Arcade Boots for, man, 50, 60 minutes here.
This is a 70-minute jungler. He has 100 GPM.
I'm not even going to show that stat.
100 net worth per minute. Let me check. Is that... Okay, his GPM is 223, right? Because he's earned more, but he has 100 net worth per minute this game on his hero.
It's not... It's just, to be fair, the hero doesn't scale that amazingly well in the late game, but normally you at least see another item or two.
It's still, like, when you come to super late game, what impact do supports really have? They have Disable. They have Disable, and they have Auras. Chen is a great hero to get Auras on because he can get the Granite Golem. He can get a Hex. Lion could have potentially had a secondary item after the linkage like BKB or a Hex if they would have farmed it, and they would have put themselves in a lot of a better position here, but like, he's so
they're just not getting the farm.
This Chen right now is Hand of God in mech. That's it.
Yeah, the creeps are just
more,
food, it feels like.
Yeah. But that's the Granite Golem is magic immune, right? So that one is actually takes some effort for Cloud9 to kill. All the other creeps they just kill with like a Fissure, a Dragon Slave, and a little bit of an Icarus dive. That's pretty much gone.
Unless they want to Laguna it, I guess.
Yeah. Laguna the Granite Golem.
Got him! Yeah. Take that Granite Golem. For now, Cloud9 just waiting and relaxing. They know multiple buybacks have been used by Team Tinker, and they just don't feel any sense of urgency because it feels more and more like just the overall like sense of the game has been slowly but surely things just going Cloud9's way, and they've played enough of these long games for sure in this patch that I imagine they don't feel like they're out of their element, right where they want Tinker.
It's actually very interesting if they decide to push into Aegis and Cheese, but well, they know it's on Clockwork, so
I guess it's that trade-off, right? Do you want to wait out the Aegis? Then they have buyback. So
this is actually a really good play. I think it's way more relevant that there's no buyback on the Shadow Fiend and that there's no buyback on the PA. Like that Aegis on the Clockwork, I don't think they care at all.
They went for a bit of a smoke here, but just end up nuking the wave wall in smoke and say, we're not going to try for Subterfuge. We're going to do this the good old-fashioned way.
Okay, so what do you think about him keeping the Mask of Madness? He has 12,000 gold, and Mask of Madness is one of his items. Do you think that's that good on the Sniper that it's actually worth keeping in a 6-slot build?
You could get a Butterfly, right? If you want the move speed, you pop Flutter. Else you have the attack speed from and the evasion work. But there's your hook, though, to start off. Bulba engages on the Big Daddy. He gets pushed over the ravine. Oh, no. That's rather unfortunate with the 4 staff coming out. They can't really follow this hook up, and now they're going to make the go into Bone 7. Crits coming out. Black with the... Oh, he doesn't get him in time. He gets off the egg. What a disaster for Black. Now focus. He's used everything here. The double BKB, the egg coming out, and Eternal Envy beginning to lay into him. He's going to retreat himself back towards safety, it seems like. In the meanwhile, Pink Panda going to end up going down. They get way 2, and now Flo hooking in again, bringing Eternal Envy low. Can he finish the job? He will! Bulba, man, again and again he delivers with the hook shots, but he will fall. And now the Chen, as well as the Clock Dead, they've used all their BKBs here, it seems. And they're still chasing. They find Fada, try to finish off. Don't tell me. Don't you dare get away again, Fada. All right, not this time. They finally kill him off.
It was actually funny to see Eternal Envy. He, like, killed himself. He dealt 1,500 damage to a Blade Mail, I think. He was like, I don't care. I have Mask of Madness on, so I take more damage than you, Bulba.
That is the other big downside to keeping that item. I think at this point, you look towards selling it.
Yeah.
You've got 11K. You can buy a tier 4 item and have buyback. And
I get
most of
idea.
another item.
Like, I get the idea. It's really good for sieging and bursting and fights. Of course, the 100% attack speed, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's the right choice to keep it. The Manta style is also debatable. Like, this item, on some heroes, there are better choices in late game. I think it's pretty good for him still, the Manta.
it can be nice against the cogs, maybe to just mantle your way out, potentially to dodge the PA, trying to initiate and bait him. Does help you siege a bit as well with the illusions, but
He could even, like, there's a couple of really funky choices Sniper could go for. So he could get a Refresher if he wanted to get a secondary BKB and a secondary Manta. He could get an Abyssal Blade, so he can counter the PA when she
yeah,
jumps
PA
in.
jumps in, you just, hey, meet my Abyssal. The only
Yeah.
issue with that is that there could be a Linked Sphere on
There
the
could
line.
be a Linkers, yes. There always could, but there hasn't really. They have quite a few things that remove that Linkers.
He's going to go with the well-rounded choice,
All right,
so he
that's
will
good
pick
too.
up an Eye of
That's another
Scotty,
one he could have gone, yeah.
and he's still going to be sitting on quite a lot of gold here.
Makes his illusions better, more damage, tankier. That's one thing Mask of Madness doesn't do for you. It doesn't help your Mantas at all. And, well...
Well, it's been a stalemate, Sid. 76 minutes in, we've got one lane of Rax claimed.
Wait, one question. Refresher gives you 1 stack of Shrapnel, right? Not 3. Really important.
I'm actually not sure.
I think it gives you 1, right?
Okay.
I would guess it gives 1.
I think, yeah, that sounds right.
Else, imagine what he could do with the Refresher. Just the entirety, just the artillery
Just
coming
like
in with
literally
six-
layer their entire
six
base with
shrapnels
shrapnel.
into the Radiant base.
Ho ho! Take that, you wanker. That
boy.
hero, man.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, this is only game one. These teams are going to want to. I feel like they're going to want a cold shower to cool off after this game.
If this is going to be the norm of game length, Starladder is going to end
We're actually not going
in
to sleep.
a week and a half.
Jesus. Watch every other game be a total stop today. But we're starting off with an action-packed slugfest here. Everything feeling very even. Net worth, kill score, experience. The one big difference is Tinker have gotten pretty much every Roche, and Cloud9 are the first team to crack a lane of Rax. Winner of this match could very likely be facing Vici Gaming, I believe it is, who will be, I believe, are playing London Conspiracy right now over on the second stream.
Yeah, that's probably the most
It looks like the most one-sided.
the most one-sided matchup for the first round, based on expectations at least. But would be cool to see London Conspiracy, even if they don't win. I want to see them do well. That would be really cool. Even if they take a game off Vici Gaming, or of course if they win the series, that would be amazing.
Do it with flair.
It's always cool when there's a newcomer team with I believe it is their first LAN as a team, at least major LAN.
Yeah, definitely major land. I'm not sure if they've been to any more local lands.
Oh, they've been to some smaller LANs. I remember seeing some pictures of
Okay.
them. But yeah, their first major LAN.
It's always just fun to see a fresh face.
Yes.
You know, we see so much of the more established teams, but getting a new team, a new contender in the ring,
And
it's
we've
like,
seen
it's like
these-
unlocking a new hero in Smash Brothers. You
We've
just-
seen
you
these
just feel
faces for
good.
80 minutes now.
A new challenger emerges.
Give us a new face. Oh my god, this is how far we've come. Shaker BKB.
The same Shaker who was spent 20 minutes to farm up his Blink Dagger. Now 30 minutes gets the BKB.
It's actually a really good item against, because it's been the Lion that's been thwarting Big Daddy's efforts a lot of the
Yes.
fights, and now he can actually pre-pop BKB before
Both
Blink
of their
actually-
initiators can. The Phoenix as well as the Earthshaker. Very little in the way of like disables that go through BKB to counter this.
Invisibility.
Well, for now, Misery just going to sit back, and it seems at this point like Tinker have entered CTY, Anti-Mage, just mad scientist stage of the game. Like, this is where they just start swapping items in and out, because the current set doesn't quite seem to be working. They've got a lot of extra gold, so, you know, you got your 7th item, Mjolnir, to work with potentially for the PA, throw that buff on her in the fights, maybe swap in and out the Refresher, but it just is a sign of how hard it has been for them to actually take the key objectives of Rax.
Here.
We're getting to that point. And meanwhile, way too, is, can I just have one more item, guys, please? Please? No. The answer
The problem
is
is
no.
that with every minute, this starts feeling more and more like a 3.5 on 5, I would say, with how strong Shaker is getting and how strong Lina is getting. We've already established Chen is pretty much a non-factor. Like, Lion has a couple of key items, but this hero does... I mean, if he had another key item or two, I still think Tinker would have a way better chance, but
If he had like an Ags and an Ethereal Blade, okay, that's one thing,
Like-
but he's not getting that level of farm.
if he had some key items, maybe. But every single hero on the Dire lineup is farming. Shaker just got himself a BKB. Lina has a net worth of 26,000.
She's basically core status.
Phoenix is 20k. So when you look at the heroes in isolation and you're like, well, it's a Shadow Fiend and a PA against a Sniper when it comes to the real physical damage carriers, you'll be like, well, the Radiant have really good late game. But the problem is all the other heroes on the Cloud9 lineup are sick team fighters that actually scale very well with farm and are playing into two supports that don't scale very well with farm and don't have any either. So
On paper, the carry matchup looks good for Tinker, but in reality, Dota is a 5v5 game. And
Exactly.
like you're saying, that's where Tinker
And that's
just-
where they missed their
fall
timing
short.
window.
Yeah.
Because they missed the window when Chen was actually strong.
They had, I think, 2 Aegises where they didn't really commit, and then there was the third one with the cheese where it was the Shadow Fiend hitting the tower, but did not actually have an Aegis. So he just got jumped, he died, push was over.
And it would be really interesting to hear their hear the thought process of them if they're like, we don't need to push, guys. If what they're thinking is we don't need to push, we have better late game,
Yeah.
then I feel like they simply just misanalyzed the situation completely. And
Maybe
it's
if
a
their-
really big shame
maybe
if that was the call.
If their supports were out farming
yes.
Cloud9s, maybe, but they have to know they're not even close. I mean, they've seen Misery's items at this point.
So it's really, it would be cool to know if that was like a strategic call to just play safe and keep farming and we're going to win and then not farm their supports, or if they just felt forced to play this way. Because I think in either case they could have definitely done more with their first 2 Aegises.
It's where you also just look at the way that Cloud9 like to draft, and a lot of Fada's heroes are extremely strong late game heroes. The
Yep.
Beastmaster is a good example for the lockdown he brings to the table, as well as the split pushing. The R is really helpful. But another good example is the Zeus. Like that hero mid game can fall off against BKBs, but once the BKBs get low sin, you go late. Fada often ends up being one of the hardest carries on the team.
Static field scales so well
Yeah.
in late game. When heroes start getting tanky, you just deal more damage. And a lot of teams these days, they don't like getting magic resist. You kind of need the BKBs. You don't really have a slot for pipe late game, and it's also not that much damage it blocks after
Once in a
all
while,
that
we'll
late.
see like a fat Chen pick one up, but
Yeah.
that's not that common.
Rocket energy.
And how much does it really block in super late game is the question. The 400 flat isn't that nice. Then if the magic resistance that the hero with the pipe gets was also an aura, then we could talk about it, but it's not.
Well, for now, things getting super late. The hour grows towards midnight as we have an initiation at long last. The BKB comes out from boat 7. Big Daddy leaping forward, goes for the enchant totem, trying to focus down the Chen creeps. They'll zap down 1, finishing him off. Meanwhile, elsewhere, there's more engagement. Brigado's Black will focus down Fada's Beastmaster. Didn't get off any roars. Does have the buyback available if needed. Cloud9 retreating. Can they get out of here? No. Bulba says, get back here. Where do you think you're going, Bone 7? Fissure comes out, trying to control him. He has the Hex. The dive's going to be available soon. He just goes with the Supernova. Black focusing on this, chipping away. They need a little more in the way of auto attacks. They get the Phoenix, bringing him down as well. A 2-for-1 exchange here as the Chen also hits the deck for the Radiant squad. Still, nobody really striking a decisive victory out of that fight, and we're going to reset again.
The reason this fight went so well for Tinker was that Cloud9 committed 3 heroes to killing the Chen. He did a really good Force Staff play to buy a lot of time, and Misery doesn't want to Laguna the Chen. He feels like it's a waste and wants to keep it for the PA. And when the kill takes those extra 5 to 10 seconds,
Look
then
what
all of
we
a
got
sudden-
here!
Uh-oh.
A little sniper appears. See you later, says Black. With 1 crit ends him. They even bring out that
What?
courier. Oh, did you see that?
Has fallen shade.
10,000 net worth?
No. Well, this game just got really difficult, I would say. All of a sudden, I mean, well, has it actually? I guess let's examine that. They do lose the courier. They have another Aegis. At the same time, to be fair, these Aegises haven't done a whole lot for Tinker. And they are still up against the double roar. As well as potentially quite a few buybacks here.
If they push right now. So how is it? Sniper lost his BKB, and he lost his Scotty on the courier. So he actually
Yeah.
doesn't have that for the next
He's
fight. They-
still sitting on the Mask of Madness, unfortunately. And he
buys a new one. I was
just
about to say he can
melts.
buy a new one, because he has the
He's
gold
got the
for it,
gold,
and he's
yeah.
going to need it in the fight, probably.
That is unfortunate. though. You
oh
gotta,
my god, that's going to hurt.
That's 4,000 gold just to have a BKB if you buy back before you get it off the courier. But in the meantime, there's real pressure mounting here. Black now swings towards top. He's going to work on the tier 3 tower. In the meanwhile, Misery trying to rat got punished by Wave 2 as well as a Clockwork at his side. Black now taking a roar, has a BKB. Abyssal and Refresher gets Hex. They need to focus him down quickly here. But the hooks from Bulba again doing some work. Not quite enough though. He'll end up falling. Aegis drops once. Now they chase forward for more. They've got another Roar with the Refresher. Roar comes out. No Aghanim's ultimate, but they're just going to try to do this with auto attacks. Inner Beast, another hook. Bulba, everywhere he hooks seems to be just the death zone. His hook marks the fall of the Shadow Fiend. Now a Fissure, follow-up stun. Misery doing heavy work here. They got to be careful not to die to the Blade Mail. They're doing it piece by piece, bit by bit. And Cloud9 mostly hold. They get quite a few heroes killed. They only lose a single lane of Rax. Misery unable to claim a second for Cloud9. So now we've got basically a dead even game, Sin. A lane of exposed racks for both teams at 85 minutes, a lane of racks taken, and 1 lane that's still protected by a tier 3.
I still can't believe it got that close for Cloud9. That was such a greedy Roshan take. It reminds me, you've seen that photo with Envy, right? scientist baffled at young man's ability to fuck up every time. And I had that image in my mind. The moment he died there and lost the current, I was like, not again, Jack.
You know, the best part though is now he's fine. He's got it. He's got everything he needs. I think he might have sold. Did he sell his Scotty? Or is this another courier? Oh yeah, the other courier hasn't respawned. I was gonna say like, what is going on here? But yeah, that hasn't respawned quite yet.
Oh boy.
I mean, still, to be fair, it's been Tinker with advantage all game long. They can't seem to end the game. This one feels like a coin flip, honestly. Who's going to have more buybacks? Who's just going to have that extra refresher to work with at the right moment? A lot of questions here, Sind.
Yeah, well, they do stay alive. That buyback on Sniper was a pretty big deal, though, for Tinker. That means if they catch him again, that could be game. And they didn't have to expend any themselves, so the buyback on PA is now available again. The Shadow Fiend will have his in 6 minutes, though, so that was the big one. It's the trade-off 1-for-1 there. And this next fight now, Cloud9 looking to go on the aggressive.
Well, they've got the other courier back, and he's like, you know what? Screw those items. I don't even want those items, because they were bad luck for me last fight. Just leaves it in the fountain.
Has he carried the Scotty yet?
No.
He bought a Scotty, and he
It's a decorative Scotty, okay? This thing just looks really nice. It's a deep blue. It matches up well against that fierce red of the Mask of Madness, so he just wants it to complement his wardrobe here. He's not going to wear this thing. Are you kidding me? At this point, it's about accessorizing your sniper, not about actually having items.
Is that Mask of Madness really worth it?
I'm not sure.
Well, we've talked about it a lot.
I
He
guess
thinks it is.
if you
so.
never get caught, it feels like it could be worth it. But it's asking a lot to expect you'll never get caught. You're up against an Aghanims hookshot. Often the clock has an Aegis, so he got multiple hookshots to work with for sure. The BKB PA, the Blink Hex Lion, Eternal Envy has gotten caught quite a few times this game. It's just a lineup that's good at catching that.
And there are
hero.
some interesting things happening right now. Bulba managed to get a Hex on the Clockwork. The Lion is sitting on 2,600 gold with an Ogre Club
Looks
and a
like-
Staff of
I mean,
Wizardry.
probably
so
the
he's got
BKB
Ags.
at this point?
He's got an Ags.
Oh, he has a Staff of Wizardry?
Yeah, he has the full Ags.
Okay.
Chen, God of Vlad, item progression.
That was, I think those were the big winners last fight, actually, were the supports of
Yep.
Team Tinker.
They got a lot of gold.
Yeah, the Lion's clawing his way back towards relevance here. Lion Axe is a big pickup. It's a lot of burst damage.
Do it with flair.
You just need to find an Ethereal Blade now, and they'll be able to one-shot. I mean, imagine if Eternal Envy actually has his Mask Command is activated with no BKB. Whoa, buddy.
Well,
And the best part is, this helps you farm, man. Look at that. Entire creep wave gets massacred.
now he just needs a Daedalus, an
He's ready
MKB,
Okay.
and a BKB
Now
on the
you're
line.
talking. Now you're talking. We'll see if that's the choice.
Like when you enter ultra late game, like minute 90 plus, you can consider starting to build. So what scales well in the game? Disables always have full effect, and the things that scale are armor and physical damage. Like magical damage doesn't really scale, right? You can get like a
Oh,
Veil.
here we go. Trap was set. Finger comes out of the creep wave, actually, I think, but still hits Misery with the splash. And he'll be forced back. Now BKB. He Lagunas right through the blade mail, but not able to get the job done just yet. Fada searching for roar targets. Misery blinks into the trees. Stun again, only hitting the trees. And now the secondary roar. This one will be on Koikva. Where's that freaking PA? Not here for the fight. Koikva. Oh, he may end up going down now. Doesn't have buyback. This could be devastating. And Koikva will end up popping in the end. They get 3. That is a dieback now on a couple of heroes, Sin.
Black's Boots of Travel are on cooldown. I'm not sure if he ported on something that died or if he misclicked the port and ported to the bottom lane, but that is actually... I don't want to say it's game losing because I feel like there's been a lot of game losing moments, but this
But
could be
nobody's
the nail
lost yet, so-
This could be the nail in the coffin here. If Cloud9 do siege down the mid lane, fighting without the Shadow Fiend, well, actually even without the Clock, who doesn't have buyback. The buybacks are so freaking expensive right now. He needs to wait a minute for it.
Well,
With
I
his
don't know if he has a
2300.
minute to wait at this point. Cloud9 barreling down the middle lane with a couple of heroes, but there's a nice pick off bottom. Black gets him with the crit. He'll eviscerate the Lina. That's also a dieback on the Lina. Dead for 2 minutes. Everybody's dying back now.
That's actually huge.
This is where the PA gets strong, right?
Maybe
When
they
everyone
can
starts
hold.
dying, and it's like these small little skirmishes, then the PA can have a really big impact.
They might actually hold now because Misery died. This
Oh,
might
no.
make Cloud9 think twice about pushing.
All right, we're going to start today off with over a 100-minute game then. If he ends up holding, it feels like this will probably go another 10 minutes.
Black's
Bone
going to
seven,
get the
though.
Mjolnir.
May want to make his move in a bit sooner. He's fencing around, but not ready to commit just yet. Fada also... Everyone who sees this PA is like, I don't really want to fight him without backup. Fada just trying to lure Black in a bit deeper. But Black currently sitting in the dark. Doesn't really want to go Echo to start it. Initiation onto Black. The follow-up's there. The roar as well. Trying to bring him down with the laser beam. They'll do it. Finger came out. Got almost nothing done, unfortunately. Now the PA is forced to buy back. Shadow Fiend on the sidelines. PA with the buyback. And I think with that, Cloud9 are going to
That's a really
call
good
the
snipe.
retreat. By the
That was
way,
a
the
really,
Scotty
really
is
good snipe.
just sitting around mid.
I don't think I've ever
Adorning
seen
the
that before.
courier.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone buy
Okay,
an
your
item.
mission now is to 6-slot your courier just so it looks really cool. And he's getting there. At this rate, he's basically got item number 3. I feel like this is the type of game where you really want Ice 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 on your team. The master of courier micro. If you could just recruit him for one game, this feels like the type of game that Darrow would really excel in. You're getting a mini Air Force going.
Well, Cloud9 do have No-Tail, who has a very famous full retard quote, which I think is very fitting for this moment.
I would love to get a Big Daddy quote after this series about this game.
Boots of Travel and Shaker, item progression once again. Roshan is going to respond soon. They might be contesting this with someone, as Fata will now be decorating his personal courier with the Abyssal Blade.
Yeah, okay.
For a bit.
That's a big item, though, to be fair.
Well, at least he's used it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's one thing he's putting it on the courier and decorating
Well, it's
it.
an item you can kind of pass around and use. It has an active, you know?
A decorative Scotty is definitely a first.
It's a beautiful jewel, though.
It looks pretty good.
Really brings out the blue in Eternal Envy's eyes. I don't think he actually has blue eyes. There's a hook, though. Bulba to fight Fata off the bat. Figure coming out. They're going to work on him with the Blade Mail here. A secondary Hex coming out. And between the Clockwork and the Lion, they get the job done. Tinker strike back. Nice takedown there. And that may blunt any Cloud9 ambitions of getting aggressive, Sandez. What are we even on right now? Is this Roche 7? I think we've had at least 3 cheeses. So that would be Roche 5. I think this is Roche 6. Maybe 7.
I think it's 7.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look at how hard it is for PA to kill Roach.
He's got 19,000. He just gained more health in the middle of this fight. Now he's up to 19,000. He's doing some work here, but with the death of the Beastmaster, it almost feels like that point in the game where it's not even the buyback is better than the Aegis because it doesn't take up an inventory slot, right?
Yeah,
so it feels
it
like
is.
you'd rather just preserve your buyback than risk a Roche fight just to get an Aegis that you can't even carry anyway.
Yeah.
Jeez, what a game. 93 minutes in. We're starting today off on the right
I'm
foot, let me
actually
tell
when
you.
it comes to itemization, I'm actually surprised Bone 7 isn't going for a refresher. I think that would be the best item on the Phoenix right now to get 2 Supernovas, 2 Halberds, 2 BKBs, 2 Hexes, 2 Shivas. He went for Halberd as his latest item. If he didn't get that, he could have probably had a refresher now.
It's funny how
it's so good on Phoenix in this game.
It really is, especially with the items he's built. He's got, like you mentioned, 4 things plus the ult, so 5 in total that he can use. Even just having a second dive can be nice to help you escape from a fight.
And if you take the Halberd out of the equation, the most important item to have 2 of on the Phoenix in this game is the Hex.
The Hex, for sure.
Absolutely most important. And the Supernovas, they generally go off, because Tinker don't have the best attack speeds in the world to take down this Phoenix egg, and
Now, especially not PA, you can't blink strike it. It's just-
they can't hit it 11 times.
That
through
might
these
be
fights. It's
that
just
may
not
be the
happening.
one reason why we were kind of wondering earlier, why is Black holding on his treads? Maybe it was to deal with that, to try to have a little extra attack speed for the Supernova, but even then it's not that much. You'd love to see, I mean, like even I have Scotty, something that gives you decent stats. The Butterfly not so great with an MKB on the field, but well, it's all just kind of theory crafty at this point. Cloud9 want to put some real world applications to the test. There
Look
you
at
go.
Envy's shots.
Laguna down and a Courier also falling in the meanwhile.
Radiant
They're freezing.
Ancient is under attack.
He decided it is time.
I tried to select the Dire Courier to see what it was carrying, but they've got 2, so it didn't work properly. Anyway, here comes the fight. Big 4-step, jump forward for Big Daddy, on to 2, there's your Echo, follow up from the egg, they want to bring him down quickly, Black dropping low here, he turns, Crit 1, Crit 2, he's got him, he wants a third, oh, he gets stunned up, he can't get the job done. But they force the back now, and Bulba roars in with the hook, laying on to Eternal Envy, who tries to stand his ground, but PA's here, and PA has all the answers for Mr. Ho-Ho.
Oh,
What was that? Bulba pierces the Phoenix's heart with a hook, and he's like, actually, you missed my heart. I've been losing some weight recently.
All right, so it's one thing. Like, he misses a hook on a stationary target, but how did that hook miss?
It went right through the model.
It looked
I think
that
it
was
went through the
cool, yeah.
Wayne, and that's not actually where the hero model. I don't know. It looked really good.
Oh my god. And I was about to say, the moment Envy picks up the Scotty, they win the game, but then they
That
Dire's middle tower
that BKB double cleave crit just turned this thing right on its head. And the power of late game RG. They're going to find Misery as well. Lina dead. Can they make their move now, Sind? Want to keep an eye here on the buybacks. And I mean, at 95 minutes, everybody's got $1 billion gold. So if they haven't used their buyback, they probably have it. There's your first one. Comes out from the Shaker.
This is a really smart way of doing it from Cloud9. Don't buy out everyone at once. Just try to bait them into thinking you don't have them all.
And then jump them with, like, you get the fissure or the egg, and then you go in all of a sudden with, like, a triple buyback.
Exactly. You get the element of surprise here. Bone 7.
There's the sheep. The first initiation. They're going to follow up with a fissure. Hook comes in, though, trying to interrupt this follow-up, keeping Eternal Envy out of the fight. Black Low kept alive for now. BKB, can he Satanic? No, they focus him down. That was close, though. Fada got him with the Abyssal Blade after the roar, and now he's got a second round of both. This Beastmaster is a one-man wrecking crew. He'll bring down 3 heroes, make it 4 with the Clockwork's death from the Aegis. It's going to be another death as well for Bulba. Focus. He tried to keep Eternal Envy out of this fight, and he did it forever, but they have too much crowd control. They've got double refresher, the sheep stick on the Lina, the Phoenix, the Lina E-Blade as well, the double Abyssal Blade, roar combo to work. I mean, this is, they've got like 1 billion stuns here. You just can't do anything as the Shadow Feed PA. The throne is exposed, though. They were doing some work to the tier 4s, it looks like.
Big Daddy was
Meanwhile, bottom lane, we're going to have a little skirmish breakout. Big BOTs from Cloud9 as they try to turn this one. Bulba into the front lines, looks to go here on Eternal Envy, but he's got not much left in the tank, and Cloud9 look to make their move straight onto the throne, knowing that some heroes don't have buybacks available. They're going to bring down the Clockwork quickly, and that's GG. Tinker, they couldn't get it done in the end. They fought tooth and nail, Sin, but they just didn't quite have it when push came to shove. Man, what a game one. Absolutely punishing game one for Tinker. That's got to be just emotionally devastating after the way that game began. You have no words. Cinderin is speechless.
Yeah. Good game.
All of a sudden, it's over.
Easy win for Cloud9.
They never just have that clean, easy win. It's like it's always like tooth, claw, and nail. Got to throw like 1 billion buybacks, find like 8 items on every core before you can try to end the game.
But still, the really nice thing to see here was that Tinker actually played a really good early game.
They
were
put up a
going
really
in,
great fight.
Everyone thought that Cloud9 were the favorites for the game. They did end up winning it, but I think Tinker actually did have the opportunities they needed in this game. They were the ones who didn't execute when it mattered the most, and Cloud9 played a good defensive game, but Tinker definitely, like, if they can play like this again and just sharpen their pushing and their strategizing a little bit, I think they actually still have a shot in this series. Like, you have to say that after a 100-minute game, right? It's very easy.
You definitely can't say anyone has a clear edge after the way that game went. That was back and forth down to the wire. Just having a couple extra buybacks, a couple extra items on cores perhaps made the difference in the end. But well, Sin, that was a long game. So we're going to try to have a little break here before we come back for game 2. It is a best of 3, folks. Right now, Team Tinker is going to be trailing 0-1 in that set. Cloud9 looking to advance for a potential date with Vici Gaming or London Conspiracy. I'm LD, he's Cinderin. You're watching Starladder Season 12.
we're back again, and Ice from Team Vici Gaming have just joined me. So Daryl, you get back to Black, and Black get back to Western Dota. What about balance of Black in your life?
I got my black hair back, so yeah, I'm fine.
Nice. Well, how do you like Romania? How do you like Bucharest when you food?
We haven't really tasted food in Bucharest. That's how it's pronounced, it, right? Because we have been having Chinese food. My team is Chinese, so when we travel to a foreign country, they will only want Chinese food. I think the country is okay. The weather is fine, but the taxis are really black. They keep trying to scam us and drive in circles. So yeah.
Well, okay. Not so much time have passed since you've been playing with this roster. Do you already feel like a team, like a single unit?
Yeah, we actually do, but I think more time would make it better. I mean, it's no offense to Black, but it's much better now. Everything feels good now. The chemistry and everything. I mean, Black is still a nice guy, good friend, but I mean, yeah, it's a job, so yeah.
Well, okay, I want to ask you about the upcoming game. You're facing London Conspiracy next. Do you know anything about this team? Because they kind of underdogs.
Well, I do know that I don't think they have fixed roles. They just pick whatever they feel. Like, they just play whatever they want to play. I was watching their replays yesterday. They picked a Furion and he was just teleporting around. It was pretty funny. I think they're gonna be they are a good team. So yeah,
Okay, wish you best of luck in this game, and thank you for this interview. We're going back to you guys. I'm here with Kaiser from Team London Conspiracy. Hi there.
Hello,
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Well, guys, you're kind of a unique case because this is the first time that Pro Series champions qualify to Star Series final. So please share the story of your runaway success.
Well, in the start we were a team of 5 friends and we played a lot, like really lot. We gave up everything on our lives and started playing Dota. And I guess we succeeded.
Great. Well, you had pretty tough opponents during the second group stage. So did you count on leaving such a strong enemies as Virtus Pro as Empire behind?
We weren't really confident in the start. The group was tough, but we could make it, I think. And then we went 1-2 versus Asus. We won the first game but lost the next 2. We choked on the last 2 games. But then we played against Empire 2-0. We won them 2-0. That was a surprise for us too. We played really good those games and we had pretty good picks. And we lost against Cloud9.
But still, you really surprised everyone. And this is your first LAN event, right?
Right.
So what's your feeling? Are you feeling nervous about that?
I personally am not nervous because I know we have nothing to lose as a team. We're just here to play Dota.
Great, and we wish you best of luck. So do you want to give any shout outs to the fans?
Shout out to all the fans, my family and my sponsors.
Super, and I still want to ask you about your impressions about Bucharest, because you've been here for a week as far as I know, you've been boot camping, practicing. Was it helpful in terms of getting used to some local environment?
We got used to the PCs first of all here. Bucharest is a nice city. We played here for an entire week. We have been practicing a lot here, and it was definitely helpful because it's the second time we've been at the LAN as a team, and it really helped us.
Well, thanks a lot for joining me once again. Best of luck in your performance, and we're going back to our analyst panel.